Chapter 393. Yes, Sect Master is right. We'll follow Sect Master's orders. The various elders and followers were shouting loudly, their spirits excited. They had been cooped up in the Hunyuan Peak for nearly 2 years. During this period of time, they had been in seclusion, which formed a huge psychological gap compared to when Bei Chongguang was the first deputy sect master. At this moment, they all wished they could immediately announce their existence to the Hunyuan Heaven sect and announce that their backer, Bei Chongguang, had reached the prominent divine stage and had returned like a king. In such a fanatical and impatient atmosphere, even the few people who had calmed down could not say anything and could only go with the flow. Then, let's get ready. We'll head straight to Qinglan Peak and pay them a visit. Bei Chongguang's eyes were filled with confidence. When he said the word visit, his tone was extremely heavy. As for the others, they naturally understood what the so-called visit meant without needing him to explain. Every one of them revealed a slightly sinister smile. Wait a moment. Unfortunately, before the Chongguang Peak crowd could gather, a loud shout sounded from the void. Immediately afterwards, the hall master of the circumference hall and Grand Elder Yuan Ju flew over on their swords and stopped at the peak in the blink of an eye. Seeing Bei Chongguang, who did not even have time to consolidate his cultivation base, and the Chongguang Peak crowd, who were clearly sharpening their weapons, the hall master and Grand Elder Yuan Ju clearly thought of something, and their faces darkened. What do you want to do? Grand Elder Yuan Ju. Bei Chongguang did not dare to be too presumptuous when he saw Grand Elder Yuan Ju. He bowed slightly, but because he had also broken through to the prominent divine stage, he felt that he was on the same level as Grand Elder Yuan Ju. Although he maintained sufficient etiquette, he did not appear too respectful. It's nothing. I just heard that junior sister Nailin Fei has broken through to the Emerald stage and is about to be conferred the title of Deputy Sect Master of our Hunyuan Heaven sect. So, as her senior brother, I naturally have to pay a visit and congratulate her. It can be considered as being a good host. Pay a visit? Congratulate? I don't think it's just a simple visit. Grand Elder Yuan Ju took a look at these Chongguang Peak followers who were ready to go out and cause trouble, and couldn't help but secretly rejoice that he had come quickly. He then turned to Bei Chongguang and said solemnly, "Come with me. I have something to discuss with you in private." Elder Yuan Ju, if you have something to say, why don't you say it later? Wait a moment. I'm afraid that you'll cause a huge disaster later, Elder Yuan Ju said sternly. Although Bei Chongguang did not agree. If he wanted to become the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect in the future, he would still need the support of these grand elders. Hence, he did not want to offend Elder Yuan Ju, so he simply nodded and said, "What else can there be? It's just that Cho Tsing Hui. I've already stepped into the prominent domain stage. Compared to Cho Tsing Hui, I'm not that far off, right? Not that far off. Your understanding of the great elder of Qing Su is still the same as 2 years ago when he fought against 2 prominent saint experts without falling into a disadvantageous position, right?" Elder Yuan Ju sneered. Bei Chongguang nodded, but a moment later, he seemed to hear something from Grand Elder Yuan Ju's words, and his expression changed slightly. Could it be that Cho Tsing Hui has also broken through? He has stepped into the prominent domain stage? If you can condense a battle body and step into the prominent domain stage, why can't he do the same with his astonishing cultivation speed? Prominent domain, he has also reached the prominent domain stage. Bei Chongguang's expression was rather ugly. What grade of battle body did he condense? It's the Golden Crow Divine Body, Elder Yuan Ju said in a low voice. These 4 words made Bei Chongguang's body sway. Golden Crow Divine Body. Tsing Hui had actually cultivated a divine grade battle body. If Tsing Hui was only at the Azure Netherworld stage, Bei Chongguang would not be too worried, even if he had the strength of 2 prominent domain experts. After all, competing for the sect master's throne did not rely on violence, but on influence in the sect. However, Tsing Hui had not only stepped into the prominent domain stage, but he had also stepped into the prominent domain stage with the Golden Crow Divine Body. It's fine if he only stepped into the prominent domain stage with the Golden Crow Divine Body. You just came out of seclusion and might not know, but 2 days ago, Tsing returned to the sect and directly killed the Hunyuan heaven sect's chosen, Jiesu, in front of sect masters with Kunlun, Tang Sun, and Yuan Bei. I heard about this matter. Jiesu colluded with the create, evolve mysterious sect to kill Tsing which angered Tsing. He ignored the sect master's obstruction and killed Jiesu. Ignored the sect master's obstruction? I can tell you clearly that the sect master and even the two grand elders, Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, did not stop him at all. How is that possible? The sect has invested more energy into Jiesu than any other disciple in the Hunyuan heaven sect. Even if he committed the grave mistake of colluding with the create, evolve mysterious sect to kill Cho Tsing the sect master would not watch Jiesu be killed. Why is it impossible? Don't you want to know which create, evolve mysterious sect experts Jiesu contacted and how Cho Tsing resolved the crisis? Bei Chongguang could faintly feel that the situation in the Hunyuan heaven sect had changed greatly in less than 2 years. He no longer dared to have the slightest arrogance of forming a battle body and stepping into the prominent domain stage. He respectfully bowed to Grand Elder Yuan Ju. Please tell me, Elder. I'll say a few names, and you'll have a rough idea. Huang Long, Shun Tu Gang, Ao Feng Wang Fu. As the first vice sect master of the Hunyuan heaven sect, Bei Chongguang knew the peak figures of the create, evolve mysterious sect like the back of his hand. When Elder Yuan Ju said these names, he could not help but scream, Huang Long. Huang Long, who has formed the Azure Dragon Saint body of the 6 Saint battle bodies? Huang Long of the create, evolve mysterious sect has not only reached the true origin stage, but is also said to be a high-level son of chaos. Shun Tu Gang, Ao Feng, Wang Fu, and the others are all true origin stage experts of the create, evolve mysterious sect who have formed a saint-grade battle body. Even in the entire create, evolve mysterious sect, they are all ranked in the top. Cho Tsing was surrounded by these people and not killed? Dead. Next, it's time for me to tell you how he resolved this crisis. The method he used to resolve this crisis is very simple, and that is to kill all 4 true origin stage experts of the create, evolve mysterious sect who have formed a saint-grade battle body, as well as the 8 prominent divine stage grand elders of the create, evolve mysterious sect. When Yuan Ju said this, his mind seemed to still be filled with the shock of receiving this news yesterday, and he could not help but shudder. As for Bei Chongguang, he was completely stunned by the news brought by Grand Elder Yuan Ju. He stared blankly at Grand Elder Yuan Ju. It took him a while to recover from the shock of this news. It's unbelievable just thinking about it. If the Grand Elders had not personally told me this news, I would have thought that someone was joking with me. This was not the first time that Temple Master Fang Yuan had heard this news, but every time he heard it, he could not help but be shocked. After a long while, Bei Chongguang finally regained his senses and asked in a daze, Elder, is this all true? Grand Elder Tsing he really killed the 4 true origin stage experts of the create, evolve mysterious sect who have formed a saint-grade battle body and the 8 prominent divine stage grand elders? Unbelievable. Who isn't like that? Now you probably understand why the sect master, Grand Elder Tang Sun, and Grand Elder Yuan Bei did not dare to stop Tsing from killing Jiesu. Bei Chongguang could not help but shudder when he heard this. Who would dare? Who would dare to stop him? He was a fierce person who could kill 4 true origin stage experts of the create, evolve mysterious sect who had formed a saint-grade battle body. Who would dare to stop him? Once such a fierce person was angered, the entire Hunyuan heaven sect would be turned upside down by him alone. It seems that you already understand. Grand Elder Yuan Ju looked at Bei Chongguang, whose face was faintly pale, and sighed softly. Since you understand, you should know that if you really went to Qinglan Peak and accidentally angered Grand Elder Tsing your fate would not be any better than Jiesu's. Even if you end up like Jiesu, no one in the Hunyuan heaven sect will stand up for you. How can this be? How can this be? I have already broken through to the prominent divine stage and become one of the top experts in the Hunyuan heaven sect. How can this be? Bei Chongwang's eyes were filled with unwillingness. Apart from unwillingness, there was also a trace of fear in his eyes. Some people are destined to make us look up to them again and again. Unfortunately, your opponent, Grand Elder Tsing Hui, is such a person. Therefore, if you don't want your hopes to be met with despair again and again, it's best to forever hide the trace of unwillingness in your heart. Otherwise, there will be a day when you will bring a fatal disaster to yourself because of so-called face or so-called self-esteem. At this point, Grand Elder Yuan Ju stood up and patted the shoulder of the vice sect leader, whom he had high hopes for. Take care of yourself. He then turned and left. Hall Master Feng Yuan also cast a pitiful glance at Bei Chongwang before leaving. Of all the people to be his opponent, he had to choose Grand Elder Tsing Hui, who was so monstrous that words could not describe. What else could he do but ask for trouble? A long time after Grand Elder Yuan Ju left, Bei Chongwang was still standing there in a daze until Bei Chongkong carefully came to him with the prepared people of Chongwang Peak. He asked, "Lord, everyone is ready. Do you think it's time for us to depart from Qinglan Peak?" Bei Chongwang came back to his senses in a trance. His eyes fell on Bei Chongkong's expectant face and the followers behind him. After a long time, he sighed and waved his hand weakly. "Let the others disperse. Chongkong, you and I will prepare a generous gift. We will go to Qinglan Peak to congratulate junior sister Nalan Fei, Bei Chongwang. I was just joking about being invincible. Please don't take it to heart." Chapter 394. Chaos Temple. In the personal space of Dao Xuani, the sect master of Create, evolved mysterious sect. At this moment, Dao Xuani, the transformative elders Dao Baiyan, Dao Keming, and Fan Tian, the four core experts of Create, evolved mysterious sect, stood on an altar in this personal space and waited quietly. Their expressions were filled with humility and respect. After a while, these elders who had reached the peak of transformative realm seemed to have sensed something. They suddenly raised their heads and looked toward the center of the altar. All of a sudden, a terrifying pressure so powerful that it made people tremble emerged from the altar. Accompanied by the appearance of a figure, a powerful spirit pressure completely erupted. Even in the special environment of the Chaos Divine Temple, the senior elders of the Create Evolved Mysterious Sect couldn't help but tremble. Their faces turned pale as they hurriedly bowed to the figure. This subordinate sect's Create Evolved Mysterious Sect's Elder Dao Baiyan and Dao Wuming greets Heavenly Dao Envoy Black Heaven Daoist Master. Rumble. As the Black Heavens Dao Master's name was uttered by the people of the Create Evolved Mystical Sect, a terrifying spiritual pressure swept out in an even more violent manner. In an instant, it caused Dao Xuani's personal space to tremble violently, and the world within a radius of 1,000 meters seemed to tremble. Dao Master, Black Heaven Dao Master. Dao Lords were existences who stood at the very apex of the entire heavenly Dao. Even the weakest of them possessed the battle prowess of an Almighty, and the majority of them were existences who stood at the very peak of the Almighty. In other words, they were at the level of Master Tsang Zhen and Master Three Wonders. Even if they were unable to use their vast cultivation in special spaces like the chaotic Divine Palace, they could still easily kill any expert below the true energy realm just by relying on the pressure of their souls. Create Evolved Mysterious Sect. You have disappointed me. Black Heaven Dao Master's powerful and oppressive voice came from the figure that was slowly approaching from the altar. Dao Xuani, Dao Baiyan, Dao Keming, Fan Tian, and the rest of the Create Evolved Mysterious Sect's higher-ups were sweating profusely. They hurriedly said, "We deserve to die. It's not that we didn't do our best for the sect. It's just that I don't want to hear any excuses. Since there's a problem, think of a way to solve it as soon as possible. I've seen your report. Someone is obstructing the heavenly Dao's progress in unifying this continent. Now, there's even a disciple personally trained by Master Tianxiong who wants to go against the heavenly Dao." "Yes, that's right." Dao Baiyan did not dare to hesitate and hurriedly replied, "Currently, Our Create Evolve Mysterious Sect's true enemy is the Limitless Sword Sect, which is supported by Jianing. Because the Limitless Sword Sect has greatly thwarted our Create Evolve Mysterious Sect's progress in unifying the Eastern Wilderness, they recently recruited a new Hunyuan Heaven Sect and are using the Hunyuan Heaven Sect and the Limitless Sword Sect to form a pincer attack on our Create Evolve Mysterious Sect. It's your problem that you can't deal with the so-called Limitless Sword Sect and Hunyuan Heaven Sect. You're too useless, so who else can you blame? What I'm asking now is, did Master Zhu Zhao of the Heavenly Tao personally train a disciple who wants to go against the Heavenly Tao? Although he was called trash, Dao Bian did not dare to show any dissatisfaction. He could only suppress his dissatisfaction and respectfully said, "We're 90% sure that the person secretly teaching Xing Hui is Master Zhu Zhao of the Heavenly Tao." According to the information we received from the Heavenly Tao's intelligence department, Xing Hui has been alone with Master Zhu Zhao more than once. Moreover, he's a prominent divine stage cultivator and has an extremely shocking status in the Heavenly Tao. It's said that he's already listed in the Heavenly Tao's highest parliament. According to various signs, there's a 90% chance that he's Zhu Zhao's disciple. 90% sure? Very good. A cold smile appeared on Tao Master Black Sky's face. Zhu Zhao is the stabilizing force of the Heavenly Tao. Without Zhu Zhao, what's the Heavenly Tao's Heavenly Tao? It's not difficult for the Heavenly Tao to destroy it. Now, gather all the experts of the Create Evolve Mystical Sect and immediately find Xing Hui's location. Then surround and kill him. I want you to force him into a corner so that he has no choice but to ask for help from Zhu Zhao and make him descend his main battle avatar. Dao Bian immediately understood. A trace of astonishment appeared on his face. "My lord, you want to keep Zhu Zhao's main battle avatar? That's right. Moreover, control your abilities well. When the time comes, the main battle avatar's strength cannot be lower than the endless stage." As Taoist Master He Tian spoke, he cast a cold glance at Dao Bian. "If you guys are able to complete this task, it would be a great contribution. By then, not to mention ordinary divine weapons, it wouldn't be difficult to reward you guys with some level 11 or even level 12 peak divine weapons. As for the few of you, you guys would be required to break through to the unending realm and even the golden core realm." Dao Bian, Dao Kemming, and the others immediately felt their hearts tremble. This was a battle between the top echelons of the Heaven Wasteland domain. Although they were the top figures of the Create Evolve Mystical Sect and could do whatever they wanted in the Eastern Wilderness domain, their transcendent stage cultivation was nothing in the Heaven Wasteland domain or even the entire world. Once they offended those invincible figures who stood at the top of the world, crushing them would be as easy as crushing an ant. However, in the face of Tao Master Black Sky's request, they had no choice but to agree. "We know Xing Hui's whereabouts. He's currently in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Then what are you waiting for? Mobilize all the forces you can muster and kill Zhui Qingshu at once. We must force him to ask his master, esteemed Zhu Zhao, to send down his primary battle incarnation to help him when he's at his wit's end." Tao Master Black Sky said coldly. Destroying an avatar and summoning an avatar were two completely different concepts on a cultivator. If he could really destroy one of Reverend Zhu Zhao's never-ending realm avatars, not only would Reverend Zhu Zhao's body be affected, but even if he had some treasures to recover, Reverend Zhu Zhao would not be able to do anything for a year or two. If he wanted to completely recover, it would probably take 3 to 4 years. Such a long time would be enough for them to completely destroy the vault of heaven in the real world. Xing Hui is not a weakling. Not long ago, we sent 4 true energy stage experts with Saint grade battle bodies and 8 vision sage stage experts with our creation fantasy sect's most precious treasure, the void restriction array flag, to besiege him, but they were all wiped out. Based on this, his peak battle power under the divine art isn't inferior to an ordinary never-ending stage expert. Moreover, he's currently in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, which has many experts, so it'll be even more difficult for us to deal with him. We'll have to mobilize all the experts, including Taoist Tianding. However, this will leave us empty. Not only will the territories we previously occupied be taken back by the Wuji Sword Sect, the Green Lotus Sword Sect, the Jin Wu religion, the Shunshao Sword Sect, the Qingquan Sacred Land, and other forces, but even the Creation Fantasy Sect headquarters may be in danger. Before Dao Bian could finish speaking, Dao Bian's aura suddenly erupted from Taoist Master He Tian's body. An invisible giant hand formed entirely from divine sense slammed into Dao Bian's body with a suffocating force. Dao Bian couldn't resist the mighty power that could shatter one's spirit. He was instantly pulverized by the palm, and his consciousness in the chaos divine temple dissipated on the spot. Didn't you hear what I said clearly? What I'm saying is, immediately mobilize all the forces that the creation mystical sect can muster to besiege and kill that brat called Zhua Qingshu. Force him to seek help from his master and have esteemed Zhu Zhao send down his prime battle incarnation. Are you all deaf? If the creation fantasy sect can't do anything in the eastern wilderness, I don't mind supporting another spokesperson. I remember that there's a force called the Six Paths of Gods and Demons in the eastern wilderness that has tried to join the heavenly Tao several times. If you can't even handle such a small matter, you can wait to be destroyed one by one. Taoist Master He Tian's rage immediately made the hearts of Dao Xuani, Dao Qiming, Fan Tian, and the others tremble. They hurriedly shouted, "Please don't be angry. Please don't be angry. Please don't worry. We will mobilize enough forces to completely besiege Cho Tsing Hui and force him to ask for help from the Almighty behind him. We don't dare to delay the task that Lord Envoy has given us. However, Lord Envoy, it's not that we don't want to lead people to besiege and kill Cho Tsing Hui in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, but there are also a large number of experts in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. If we really attack the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, it will inevitably lead to the Wuji Sword Sect and other forces to take action. At that time, perhaps before Tsing Hui can ask Master Zhu Zhao to help, our creation fantasy sect will be defeated. Wouldn't that ruin Lord Envoy's plan? Please give us some time, Lord Envoy. We will think of a way to lure Cho Tsing Hui out of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Once he leaves the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, all of us will go all out to besiege and kill him until he asks for help from Master Zhu Zhao. Dao Master He Tian swept a glance over Dao Qiming and the others and felt that what they said made sense. Please rest assured, Lord Envoy, we will definitely complete the task that Lord Envoy has given us. Our creation fantasy sect has Master Tian Ding, a transformative stage expert who has cultivated a saint battle body in the sacred art. In addition, we also have Master Beidou, who has cultivated one of the 6 saints, the soaring snake sacred body. Although he is also a transformative stage expert like Master Tianding, his battle strength is stronger than Master Tianding's. We will ask these 2 senior brothers to cooperate with us. Once Cho Tsing Hui leaves the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, only death will await him. Before he dies, we will definitely give him time to ask for help from Master Zhu Zhao and ask him to send down his clone. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go and make the necessary arrangements now. We can't act rashly and alert the enemy. We can't let Zhua Qingshu and esteemed Zhu Zhao notice anything. If we can't even handle such a small matter, there's no need for the creation mystical sect to exist. Yes. Please rest assured, Lord Envoy. When Cho Tsing Hui is surrounded, we will inform Lord Envoy immediately and ask Lord Envoy to send down a powerful main battle clone. The moment Master Zhu Zhao's main battle clone descends, we will defeat it in one fell swoop. Chapter 395. Qinglan Peak's Vice Sect Master Inauguration Ceremony was bound to be recorded in the history of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Not only did Sect Masters with Kunlun personally attend the ceremony, but all the more than a dozen visioned Saint Stage Grand Elders who were still in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect made an appearance at the banquet. Even those grand elders who were not in the Hunyuan heaven sect sent their disciples and followers to send gifts to express their congratulations. In particular, the two grand elders, Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, who had not attended public events for more than a decade, made an appearance at Nalan Fei's inauguration banquet to congratulate her and publicly express their support for her. All the grand elders, the two grand elders, and sect masters with Kunlun's full support was definitely unprecedented in the history of the Hunyuan heaven sect. In addition, the two most promising contenders for the sect master's throne, Jie Su and Beizhong Wang, one publicly gave gifts and admitted defeat, while the other was killed by Grand Elder Xing Hui on the spot. No one could be a threat anymore. This made all the Hunyuan heaven sect cultivators understand that the Hunyuan heaven sect would soon usher in an era that belonged to Nalan Fei, or rather, to Cho Xing Hui. Under such circumstances, Qinglan Peak's inauguration banquet naturally became unprecedentedly lively. The banquet, which was originally planned to be held for one day, was delayed for 3 days. Countless Hunyuan heaven sect's clans and subsidiary forces came to congratulate Nalan Fei, causing many gifts to pile up in Qinglan Peak. These changes were all within Xing Hui's expectations. He could be said to have no desires, and his status meant that even if ordinary people wanted to curry favor with him, they would not be able to present gifts that could satisfy him. Under such circumstances, Nalan Fei, who had shown him kindness and was favored by him, naturally became the object of everyone's desire. Given the potential that Xing Hui had shown, everyone knew that as long as they clung onto Nalan Fei, it was equivalent to embarking on a smooth path to heaven. Grand Elder Tang Sun, Grand Elder Yuan Bei. While the banquet was still going on, Xing Hui secretly found Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, the two true energy stage experts, and brought them to the guest room. Nalan Fei was able to become the next sect master of our Hunyuan heaven sect thanks to the help of the two grand elders. Otherwise, it would not have been so easy. Grand Elder Xing Hui is too polite. Nalan Fei is not weak. She has cultivated to the azure stage at such a young age, and what's more, she has cultivated saint-grade astral chi. If she can also condense a saint-grade battle body in the vision saint stage, she will be another powerful expert in our Hunyuan heaven sect. I believe she can inherit the Hunyuan heaven sect. To let her inherit the Hunyuan heaven sect, I believe she will bring glory to the sect. Tang Sun smiled politely. I appreciate Grand Elder Tang Sun's kindness. Since Grand Elder Tang Sun has taken such good care of Nalan Fei, I naturally cannot forget about the Hunyuan heaven sect. To be honest, I have already told the Almighty behind me about the create, evolve, mysterious sex attack. He can sense that my cultivation is still weak and will come to the Eastern Wilderness in half a month to bring me some cultivation resources in the hope that I can step into the true energy stage and condense divine-grade true energy as soon as possible. According to my understanding, in addition to the various cultivation resources he has on him, he also coincidentally killed a grade 11 heavenly Peng. If Grand Elders need it, I can ask him to bring the corpse of the heavenly Peng sacred beast and sell it to the Hunyuan heaven sect at a low price as thanks. A sacred beast heavenly Peng. The corpse of a grade 11 sacred beast heavenly Peng. My heavens! That almighty actually. Tang Sun and Yuan Bei were both horrified, and their eyes were filled with shock as they looked at Xing Hui. The almighty behind Xing Hui could even kill a grade 11 sacred beast heavenly Peng. It should be said that the sacred beast heavenly Peng was a powerful sacred beast that was most proficient in flying and life-saving. A cultivator might be able to defeat it, but the difficulty of killing it was much higher than ordinary sacred cheilants and sacred beasts of the 6 sacred beasts. A cultivator who could kill such a sacred beast heavenly Peng had to be a pinnacle existence among the almighty, or even an invincible figure who had condensed a domain. And grade 11 sacred beast heavenly Peng can be sold for 20 or 30 Tao rhythms, even in the heaven wasteland domain. If you bring it to the Eastern Wilderness, it won't be difficult to sell it for more than 100 Tao rhythms. if we can use a special method to extract the various materials from the sacred beast Heavenly Peng. Our Hunyuan Heaven sect may even have several more prominent divine stage experts, or even true energy stage experts. Tang Sun agreed without hesitation. Supreme Elder Tsing Hui, how much is the Almighty behind you willing to sell it to our Hunyuan Heaven sect? Tsing Hui looked at Tang Sun and said, 100 Tao rhythms. You should know the rules set by the Almighty on Heaven Wasteland domain. Even if I want to sell it to you at a discount, the price can't be too low. 100 Tao rhythms. Tang Sun calculated inwardly and finally nodded heavily. This price is already very generous compared to other forces. If it was other forces, they would have to disassemble the sacred beast Heavenly Peng's body and sell it piece by piece. In the end, if we want to buy the entire sacred beast Heavenly Peng, it will most likely reach 150 or even 180 Tao rhythms. Supreme Elder Tsing Hui's price is indeed very good. We will buy it, and I will try my best to gather 100 Tao rhythms worth of items for Supreme Elder Tsing Hui in the next half a month. Tsing Hui couldn't help but be a little surprised when he heard this. The Hunyuan Heaven sect actually has so many Tao rhythms worth of items? I thought that after you joined Sword Shadow, you should have already exchanged for most of the items. Even though Jianing gave us a discounted price of 1 Tao Aura for a 5th level upper grade divine weapon, this price was still much lower than those merchant associations that came across the sea. When some of the larger merchant associations that came across the sea to trade with us, the price would often reach the level of 1 Tao Aura for a 6th level lower grade divine weapon, or even a 6th level middle grade or upper grade divine weapon. Therefore, even though we have exchanged quite a number of treasures that can be used to raise our cultivation from the sword essence, the quantity is not too great. We are still barely able to gather 100 Tao Aura items from the sect. Tang Sun's expression was full of regret. If we knew that the Almighty behind Supreme Elder Tsing Hui was willing to come to the Eastern Wasteland domain, we would have bought these cultivation treasures from them. Tsing Hui nodded. The corpse of an 11th grade Heavenly Peng sacred beast was not something that a small chamber of commerce could possess. Even if many chambers of commerce had almighty experts of the 25th grade or above, they could not obtain enough raw materials and could not conduct cross-continent trade. If it were not for the fact that Tsing Hui was cooperating with the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce and had a special identity as a Void Walker, he might not have been able to obtain the corpse of the Heavenly Peng sacred beast for only a dozen Tao rhythms. In that case, Grand Elder Tang Sun can start preparing. I'll go and contact the Almighty behind me. Supreme Elder Tsing Hui, please go ahead. Tang Sun said with a smile. However, Yuan Bei thought of something and cautiously asked, Supreme Elder Tsing Hui, our Hunyuan Heaven sect is about to cooperate with the Jinwu religion to launch a counterattack against the Create, Evolve Mysterious sect. I wonder if Supreme Elder Tsing Hui has the time to participate in this battle. This matter, Tsing Hui pondered for a moment and said, half a month later, the Almighty behind me will send me enough cultivation materials. After that, I'm afraid I'll have to go into closed-door cultivation to break through to the true essence stage. I'm afraid I won't have the time in the next month. However, if the Hunyuan Heaven sect really encounters an unsolvable danger, as a member of the sect, I naturally have to help. Yuan Bei breathed a sigh of relief when she heard this. With Supreme Elder Tsing Hui's words, we can rest assured. After the three finished their discussion, Tang Sun and Yuan Bei bid farewell and left. Tsing Hui directly entered the Chaos Temple and found Gong Xing to discuss the matter of purchasing the 11th grade Heavenly Peng Sacred Beast corpse. Due to the fact that it was only the corpse of a Saint Beast, even though the Tian Peng's corpse was slightly more expensive than the Ming Bird and the Gui Che's corpses, it was still incomparable to the corpses of the six saints. After a series of negotiations, Qing Su bought the Class 11 Tian Peng's corpse for 26 rhymes of Taoism in the end. All he needed to do now was wait for the situation here to settle down before making a trip over. Qing Su was about to leave after he finished discussing business with Gong Xing, but he discovered Ling Yu's figure in his personal space at this moment. She seemed to be waiting for him. "What's the matter?" "Greetings, Alliance Master." Lingyu hurriedly bowed when she saw Tsing Hui appear. As Tsing Hui's aura grew stronger, Lingyu no longer dared to act casually in front of Tsing Hui like before. Indeed, there's one thing that the Alliance Lord should know. Back when I was the leader of Dawn, I was acquainted with quite a few low-level Sons of Chaos. Since the Alliance Lord asked us to find suitable traders to expand the influence of our primordial trade association, this subordinate has been keeping an eye on them and found a suitable trader. However, this trader's trading method is somewhat unique. "Oh, tell me, how special is it?" "This trader comes from the Kongli continent. It's a medium-sized continent 26 million kilometers away from the eastern wilderness and 49 million kilometers away from the Heaven Wasteland domain. No, it's a small continent now. This continent is rich in a type of, or called, dust-cleansing Oregon. This or has the mysterious effect of disrupting space and reversing yin and yang. Therefore, 600 years ago, the heavenly Tao, the divine wilderness, and the eternal domain fought over this continent. It's said that more than a dozen almighty figures have fallen." Wait a minute. More than a dozen almighty figures have fallen? Those almighty figures have actually come to the Kongli continent? That's right. It was nearly 50 million kilometers. Even if those almighty figures flew at full speed day and night with a flying artifact above the 10th level, it would probably take them 3 to 4 years. It seemed that the value of those dust-cleansing ores was astonishing. In the war on the Kongli continent, the heavenly Tao won in the end and occupied the Kongli continent. However, this war shattered the veins of the Kongli continent and depleted its vitality. Cultivation became difficult, and it completely relied on external resources. Coupled with the long journey, the cultivation world of this continent almost completely stagnated. As the Kongli continent's dust-cleansing ores were dug out, the experts of the heavenly Tao left 300 years ago, leaving only the Heavenswell Palace behind to continue excavating the extremely difficult mineral deposits. However, the Heavenswell Palace had the support of the heavenly Tao back then, so it was naturally successful in the Kongli continent. None of the local cultivators dared to resist, but as the experts of the heavenly Tao left, even if they left behind many ordinary resources and treasures and cultivated a few experts of the true energy realm, it was still declining day by day. Taking advantage of this opportunity, a force that was destroyed by the Heavenswell Palace spontaneously formed to resist the Heavenswell Palace. The Heavenswell Alliance quickly rose and wanted to overthrow the rule of the Heavenswell Palace. The person who entrusted this task, Lin Qin, is a core member of the Heavenswell Alliance. She hopes that we can help them destroy the Heavenswell Palace. This weekend's Double 10 Outbreak. 10 chapters today, 10 more tomorrow. Now the outbreak has officially begun. These 20 chapters can be said to have been accumulated by Chengfen over the past week. He didn't have any chapters in advance. In fact, for the Double 10 Outbreak to proceed smoothly, he has to write 18,000 words every day for today and tomorrow. He can be considered to have given it his all. In the end, the results of these 2 days will depend on everyone. Chapter 396. Destroy Heavenswell Palace. Tsing Hui looked at Lingyu. "You said that there are only a few true energy realm experts left in Heavenswell Palace." "Yes, it said that there are only 6 of them. It's just a deal with 6 true energy realm cultivators." "How much did she pay?" 180 Taoist rhymes. 180 Taoist rhymes? Tsing Hui was taken aback, thinking that he had misheard. 180 Taoist rhymes? 180 Taoist rhymes to deal with a force with only 6 true energy realm experts. Yes, 180 Taoist rhymes. Lingyu naturally knew the reason for Tsing Hui's shock and quickly explained. The reason why the price is so high is because of the distance of 49 million kilometers. The other reason is because of the force behind Heavenswell Palace. Heavenswell took the Kongli continent from the eternal and divine wilderness. So this continent is tacitly owned by Heavenswell. The almighties of the other forces don't dare to send down their clones to avoid provoking heaven's will. Also, one of the 6 true energy realm experts is a descendant of the Thunder Punishment Tao Lord, one of the 36 Tao Lords of Heaven's Will. Thunder Punishment Tao Lord. Since Heaven's Will was facing the threat of a chaos war with Heaven's Will, Xing Hui had a good understanding of Heaven's Will. There were 8 Tao Lords and 36 Tao Lords in Heaven's Will. The 8 Tao Lords were all invincible figures in the Saint Realm. Each of them had shocking cultivation and dominated an area. The remaining 36 Tao Lords were said to be the cream of the crop among the Almighties. They either had the cultivation of lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, or had condensed top-tier divine abilities. The Thunder Punishment Tao Lord was one of the Almighties who had condensed top-tier divine abilities. Even if the Kongli continent is tacitly owned by Heaven's Will Palace and the Thunder Punishment Tao Lord descendant is in Heaven's Will Palace, no one would take the risk in the face of the temptation of 180 Taoist rhymes. Well, there really isn't. Then we'll have to talk about the Voidly continent specialty, the Dustly Stone. Back then, the reason why the Heavenly Tao, Divine Wilderness, and Eternal Chaos organizations sent their mighty figures to the Voidly continent to fight was because of the Dustly Stone's ability to interfere with space and reverse yin and yang. Ordinary mighty figures with incarnation techniques are almost unable to let their incarnation pass through the special environment of the Dustly continent and descend there. Even if those with higher incarnation techniques can descend on that continent, the power of their incarnation techniques will be greatly reduced, and the consumption will increase exponentially. Greatly discounted? How is it greatly reduced? For a distance of close to 50 million kilometers, it is reasonable to say that a powerful being's avatar should be able to maintain the strength of a true energy boundary. However, on the Kongli continent, the avatar's strength is not even at the green underworld boundary. Most of them are at the Spirit-Chi unity boundary. Those avatars are only at the 1st or 2nd rank. Sometimes, the avatar would only be at the spirit refining realm. Only the elites among the powerful beings, or even the peak powerful beings, would be able to maintain their avatar at the green underworld boundary. Then, Lingyu added, and this is because most of the dust-repelling stones have been excavated in recent years. It is said that the influence back then was even greater. The avatar of a peak powerful being is only at the green underworld boundary. In other words, the avatar of a saint boundary invincible being can only be at the vision divine realm? Yes, the dust-repelling stones have less of an effect on the avatar technique. It is said that it has more of an effect on the teleportation technique. Until now, no one has ever used the teleportation technique to enter the Kongli continent. It is because of the dust-repelling stones that the Heavenly Tao, Divine Desolate, and Eternal Realms want to control the Kongli continent. When the time comes, they will bury enough dust-repelling stones in their own sects so that they won't have to worry about the enemy using the avatar technique or the teleportation technique. This reason, if a powerful being's avatar is at the Spirit-Chi unity boundary, it might not be able to deal with the power left behind by the Heaven Will Palace. Those peak powerful beings are all famous figures. If they rashly send their avatars to help the Heaven Will Alliance destroy the Heaven Will Palace, that is the same as directly challenging the Heavenly Tao, Xing Hui understood. As for the avatar rushing to the Kongli continent, unless that cultivator decided to stay in the Kongli continent and never come out again, once he left the Kongli continent, he would be hunted down by Taoist Master He Tian's avatar. Cultivators who had not even reached the Almighty Realm would definitely not be able to withstand it. The powerful being behind my Lord is from the Heaven Vault Empire. Moreover, he might not be afraid of the Heavenly Tao. Therefore, if that Lord is willing to take action, we can still take down the 180 Tao rhythms. Lingyu said carefully, "How is that possible?" Xing Hui shook his head. He knew who Lingyu was referring to. It was just esteemed Zhu Zhao. Esteemed Zhu Zhao might not be afraid of the Heavenly Tao, and given his cultivation base, it would not be difficult for him to send an avatar of the green underworld realm to wipe out the Heaven Will Palace. However, The huge consumption of the geometrical improvement was enough to cause esteemed Zhu Zhao to fall into a weak state for a year or even several years. The strength of the Heaven Vault Empire was completely based on the support of esteemed Zhu Zhao, who was ranked in the top 10 of the Heaven Wasteland domain. Once esteemed Zhu Zhao fell into a weak state, the Heaven Vault Empire, which was already in a bad situation, would definitely be struck by lightning. Leave the case. I will report this matter to the higher-ups. However, it is basically impossible to take down the 180 Dao rhythms. Xing Hui said. A trace of regret flashed across Ling Yu's eyes when she saw this. She put down the detailed information of the commission and left. Esteemed Zhu Zhao can't go, but a strange look flashed across Xing Hui's eyes. I wonder if my avatar technique will be affected. Dust cleansing stones are not cheap. The Heavenly Dao monopolizes the market for dust cleansing stones, and the price is 100 cubic meters per Dao rhythm. Even the price on the black market is only a few % lower than the official price set by the Heavenly Dao. There are many buyers. Although the Heavenly Dao has dug up most of the dust cleansing stones in the Kongli continent in the past few hundred years, unless they move the entire continent away, there will definitely be some dust cleansing stones left. Moreover, the remaining dust cleansing stones that can be excavated will not be less than 100,000 cubic meters. However, it would not be so easy to help Lin Qin and the others destroy the Heavenly Palace. If they wanted to occupy the Kongli continent, it would not be so easy. The people of the Heaven Crusade Alliance should know that the Heavenly Palace was backed by the Heavenly Dao. Why would they still want to destroy the Heavenly Palace? Were they not afraid that the Heavenly Palace would be destroyed and the Heavenly Palace would send a wave of Eternal Stage or even Golden Core experts to cross the sea and return to the Kongli continent for revenge? Xing Hui glanced at the information left behind by Ling Yu. After pondering for a moment, Xing Hui made up his mind. The Heavenly Palace, the Heaven Crusade Alliance. These 180 Dao rhythms are much easier to obtain than the 200 Dao rhythms from Su Xiao of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce. I'll take them. As for whether I want to occupy the Kongli continent and excavate the dust cleansing stones, I'll decide when the time comes. However, I can't rush it for now. The Hunyuan Heaven Sect, the Jin Wu religion, and the Green Lotus Sword Sect will be secretly holding an auction. It won't be too late to make my move after I've settled these 3 matters. Thinking of this, Xing Hui focused his mind and continued to polish his qi, preparing for the Golden Crow qi to condense true yuan. When he learned that the Galaxy Commerce had prepared the corpse of the Heavenly Peng Sacred Beast, he directly went to the Galaxy Commerce and bought the corpse of the Heavenly Peng Sacred Beast with 26 Dao rhythms from the 81 Dao rhythms item. At the same time, he spent another 40 Dao rhythms to purchase a series of cultivation resources for the Golden Crow bloodline, including some precious level 9 treasures, just in case. After handing over the corpse of the Heavenly Peng Sacred Beast and a series of items to Tang Sun, he quietly waited for news from the Green Lotus Sword Sect, the Jin Wu religion, and the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. In the Green Lotus Sword Sect's direction, Wen Hui did not make him wait for too long. On the 12th day that Xing Hui continued to polish his Golden Crow qi, he successfully completed the final auction in the Green Lotus Sword Sect and obtained an astonishing 144 Dao rhythms. Of course, most of these 144 Dao rhythms were exchanged with weapons after Wen Hui had a good discussion with the auctioneers. The real valuable items naturally fell into Wen Hui's pocket. The next day, news also came from the Jin Wu religion's direction. After trading the Sun Crystal with Ji Hao, this drop of gold crow spirit blood and some other divine weapons had brought Ji Hao 82 Taoist rhymes of profit. On the other hand, the Hunyuan Heaven Sect was not surprised and gave Xing Hui 100 Dao rhythms according to the original price. When Tang Sun handed over the 100 Dao rhythms item to Xing Hui, he was secretly distressed, wondering if his price was too low. After 3 successful transactions, Qing Su's item of Taoist bearing, which had fallen to 35, rose to 341 all of a sudden. This number had completely exceeded Qing Su's expectations. With the 341 charms of Daos in his possession, Qing Su finally regained his confidence again. Now that I have the Tao rhythms, I can start to refine the Golden Crow blood essence and condense my true Yuan. Xing Hui muttered to himself. Although the Hunyuan heaven sect was not a good place for secluded cultivation, it was protected by the void ceiling formation he had obtained from the creation sect. With the protection of the void ceiling formation, unless a golden core expert erupted with their golden core and tore the formation apart with a single strike, no one would be able to threaten his safety while he was cultivating in Qing Su. After explaining to Nailan Fei that he needed to focus on breaking through to the true Yuan stage, he went directly to the cultivation room that Nailan Fei had specially built for him on Qinglan Peak. He activated the Void Restriction Profound Formation and began closed-door training to condense his true Yuan. As he revealed his intention to begin condensing his true Yuan, the entire Hunyuan heaven sect became nervous. In order to ensure Tsing Hui's safety, the two Grand Elders, Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, personally guarded Qinglan Peak and paid close attention to any suspicious people. Many disciples of the Hunyuan heaven sect were also sent out to patrol the 3,000-kilometer radius around the Hunyuan heaven sect. Tens of thousands of disciples interweaved into an inescapable net, making it impossible for anyone to sneak into the Hunyuan heaven sect. Even several of the Hunyuan heaven sect's Grand Elders, who had been sent to the Jinwu religion's hidden flame mountain to discuss with the Jinwu religion's sect master Zhu Xian, had temporarily postponed their attack on the Create, Evolve, Profound sect. The reason was that they were worried that their attack at this time would anger the Create, Evolve, Profound sect and cause them to bypass the defensive line and attack the headquarters of the Hunyuan heaven sect, which would affect Tsing Hui's closed-door training. These details fully demonstrated the influence that Tsing Hui, as a Grand Elder, had in the Hunyuan heaven sect. Chapter 397. A month passed in the blink of an eye. In fact, half a month ago, Tsing Hui had already condensed his first vital essence by refining the power of the Golden Crow's blood essence. However, although condensing the first vital essence could be called the true energy boundary, it did not mean that he had truly consolidated this boundary. It took Tsing Hui another half a month to completely refine the Golden Crow's blood essence before he completed the transformation of his vital essence into vital essence. Moreover, the density of his vital essence had increased to the level of the peak of the initial stage of the true energy boundary. Compared to ordinary vital essence, the divine grade vital essence is far purer and denser than ordinary vital essence. Especially, the vital essence that I cultivated with the world-burning incantation has the characteristics of pure and vigorous energy. And also, Tsing Hui felt the terrifying explosive power contained in his body, and a strange expression appeared on his face. The increase in power, no wonder. Even if he had condensed the Golden Crow's body and cultivated the divine grade vital essence, the world-burning incantation's vital essence cultivated with the world-burning incantation was more powerful than the vital essence cultivated with ordinary techniques. However, at the same time, the vital essence of the world-burning incantation was more difficult to control. If Tsing Hui had not cultivated his vital essence to the great success stage, and his mental strength was now close to the 90 mark, it would not have been so easy to condense the vital essence into a solid form. As for completely controlling it freely and having the qualifications to step into the transformative boundary, who knew how many years it would take? Next is the pure accumulation of vital essence. As long as my vital essence accumulates to the perfect boundary, I will be able to easily permeate my vital essence to every part of my body. At that time, I will be able to manifest attacks from any part of my body. This is the characteristic of the transformative boundary, Tsing Hui muttered to himself. However, to cultivate the divine grade vital essence to the perfect boundary required far more accumulation than the spirit grade and saint grade vital essence. Although Tsing Hui had 341 Taoist rhythms, he had to set aside 110 of them to purchase the illuminating Sun Sutra. After deducting these 110 points of Taoist rhythms, he did not know how much of the remaining 231 would be left after he accumulated his vital essence to the perfect boundary. The 6 paths of God and Demon, the Pharaoh sect, and the giant Dragon Mountain range. I have to start attacking these 3 sects. I can't come up with a dignified reason to attack these 3 sections. If I forcibly attack and occupy these 3 sects, it will definitely cause a strong backlash from these sections. Once they feel that their sects are about to be destroyed, they will certainly invite the chaos organization behind them and have those powerful beings send their main battle embodiments to resist our invasion. So, in order to minimize this possibility, I had better find an excuse of being able to form an alliance of the 9 saint sects. Xinghui pondered. After a moment, he temporarily suppressed this idea. The 8 Saints alliance is better, but the 9 Saints alliance will definitely involve the Wuji Sword sect. The Wuji Sword sect is not weak. My current battle strength may be able to suppress the Pharaoh sect, the giant Dragon Mountain range, and even the Shinshao Sword sect, the Qingquan Sacred Land, the 6 Paths of God and Demon, and the Hunyuan Heaven sect, but against the Wuji Sword sect, I'm still a little lacking. After all, the Wuji Sword sect has Ancestor Stone Sword, who has reached the never-ending stage. Ancestor Stone Sword. He was the strongest person in the Eastern Wilderness and a peak never-ending stage expert. Although he had only awakened a spirit-grade battle body, which was slightly inferior to Taoist Tian Ding, who had a saint-grade battle body, he could defeat Taoist Tian Ding with one blow due to his astonishing cultivation base that was 1 stage higher than Taoist Tian Ding's. Moreover, the ancestors of the Wuji Sword sect and the Creation Mysterious sect, who were their trump cards, were all at least level 10. In other words, they all had divine arts, and Tsing Hui's level 3 divine arts would not be able to gain any advantage. The Wuji Sword sect and the Creation Mysterious sect both have their treasures, but the Creation Mysterious sect has only shown 3 treasures so far. One is the Void Prohibition Mysterious Formation Flag. The other is Taoist Yu Ding's Creation Mysterious Armor. And the third is the Dark Valley Origin Pearl that can produce the Dark Valley Pearl. The Wuji Sword sect's treasures are 4 superior level 10 divine swords called the Sky Pole Sword, the Earth Pole Sword, the Black Pole Sword, and the Wuji Sword. What's frightening is that these 4 divine swords come with a sword array. Many times, the Creation Mysterious sect can defeat the Wuji Sword sect in a head-on battle, but as long as the Wuji Sword sect uses the 4 divine swords and brings out the sword array, the Creation Mysterious sect will have to spit out all the territory that they have swallowed. This is the foundation of their resistance against the Creation Mysterious sect's invasion. Just a little bit more. He was just a little bit away from using violent means to conquer the Eastern Wilderness. To him, the transformative realm was like taking something out of his pocket. As long as his true essence reached the perfection realm, he would naturally be able to step into the transformative realm. Then, he would wait until he had truly stepped into the transformative realm before completely attacking the Creation Mysterious sect and the Wuji Sword sect. As for now, cultivation was his priority. Next, there are 2 things to do. First, I need to contact Swordmaster Bai Hung and buy the True Essence Realm cultivation method of the Candle Sun True Scripture. Second, I need to prepare the cultivation resources for the True Essence Realm of the Black Crow Bloodline and the Candle Dragon Bloodline. I have already taken out all the cultivation resources for the True Essence Realm of the Black Crow Bloodline and the Candle Dragon Bloodline. After all, the top cultivation resources for the Golden Crow Bloodline and the Candle Dragon Bloodline have always been in high demand. Although the Silver Chamber of Commerce and the Mystic Jade Pavilion can take out 1 or 2 portions from time to time, it is not so frequent. Xinghui thought to himself. He had already stepped into the Chaos Divine Palace and directly arrived in the Sky Dome realm. Considering that the core members of the Sky Dome realm, Master Zhu Zhao, and the others must be very busy, Xinghui did not disturb them. After sensing for a while, he directly appeared in front of a platform. In the center of this platform, a middle-aged woman in the almighty realm was talking about the way of refining true qi, which was similar to the way of refining true qi into virtual qi. Jinyu, the granddaughter of the pavilion master of the mystic Jade Pavilion, which was one of the 6 great chambers of commerce, was sitting in the middle of the platform, listening quietly with more than 30 people on the platform. Xing Hui stood at one side and did not disturb her. He patiently listened to her. After a while, he benefited a lot. In terms of realm, the middle-aged woman in front of him was at least at the great perfection stage of refining true qi into virtual qi. Some of the methods she talked about to hone one's true qi were quite wonderful. Even Xing Hui could not help but benefit a lot from it. The middle-aged woman had obviously been lecturing here for a long time. After lecturing for another 4 hours, she slightly paused. Today's qi tempering method will end here. Next month, I will be lecturing here on the spirit tempering method. Anyone who pays 3 contribution points can come and listen. After she finished speaking, she even nodded politely at Xing Hui. Although Xing Hui was a little surprised, he still hurriedly bowed back. Soon, the middle-aged woman left. Everyone stood up one after another. When they saw Xing Hui standing at one side, although they were a little surprised, they all bowed politely to him. However, they did not say anything and left one by one. Only Jinyu seemed to be surprised when she saw Xing Hui. Pak Hui, why are you here? Xing Hui was a little confused. Why can't I be here? Lord Peony teaches once a month for 20 hours each time. When the lesson begins, ordinary people are not allowed to enter. I didn't see you at the beginning. At this point, Jinyu seemed to have thought of something. Suddenly, her beautiful big eyes widened. You're a counselor? A counselor whose authority is higher than that of a high-ranking member? Only counselors can attend the lesson for free. When Xing Hui heard this, he finally understood why everyone present bowed to him. Even the great master who was in charge of true qi, Lord Peony, nodded at him. So this was the reason. Yes, I'm indebted to Lord Peony's kindness. Oh my God, you are a counselor. There are only 3 ways to become a counselor in Heaven's Vault. First, you are a great master who has derived divine powers. Second, you have made great contributions. Third, you have reached the 25th level of chaos. Speaking up to there, Jean, you studied Qing Su constantly. It's impossible for you to be a great being. In that case, the only possibility is that you've made great contributions or that you've reached the 25th step of the chaotic realm. Thinking about that mysterious Senior Danyang. Don't tell me you've obtained the authority of a council member because of Senior Danyang? Xing Hui heard her automatically filling in the blanks and was too lazy to explain. He said directly, "There is something I need your help with. I have reached the true element realm and cultivated the world-burning art to condense divine-grade true essence. However, if I want to complete this realm as soon as possible, I am afraid I will need a lot of resources. Does Miaoyu Pavilion have any channels? If not, why don't you introduce me to the other big chambers of commerce? How can you not have any? You underestimate Miaoyu Pavilion. What cultivation resources do you want? World-burning art, right? I have heard of this cultivation method. It is the cultivation method of the Golden Crow's bloodline. Its power is astonishing, but it seems to be very dangerous to cultivate. If it is the Golden Crow's bloodline, I will calculate it for you. Profound Sun Pill? It can greatly increase cultivation speed. Or Brilliant Sun Pill. Our Miaoyu Pavilion even has Golden Crow blood pills. What is the price of the Profound Sun Pill? What is the effect of supporting cultivation? What about Brilliant Sun Pill and Golden Crow blood pill? Profound Great Sun Pellet is relatively cheap. If we exchange it for our Sky Dome contribution points, 10 contribution points can be exchanged for 1 bottle, which is 10 pellets. As for its effect, 1 bottle per month, and under normal circumstances, it would take 30 years to cultivate the divine Grey Hunyuan to perfection. As for the Brilliant Sun Spirit Pellet, its effect is more than double that of the Profound Great Sun Pellet. The price of 1 bottle is around 50 contribution points, and under normal circumstances, it would take 10 to 12 years for a cultivator to reach perfection of Hunyuan. As for the Golden Crow blood pellet, its price is 150 contribution points, and it would take about 5 to 6 years to reach perfection of Hunyuan. 5 to 6 years. Tsing Hui directly excluded these pills. Do you have Golden Crow's blood essence? If I have 4 portions of Saint-level Golden Crow's blood essence, I will be able to cultivate my true essence to completion in less than half a year. Golden Crow's blood essence is good stuff, especially you want 4 portions. Jean shook her head. Miaoyu Pavilion doesn't have any during this period. If you do, I can help you ask around and keep it. If Miaoyu Pavilion doesn't have any, what about the other big chambers of commerce? Golden Crow's blood essence and Shining Dragon's blood essence are all fine. If the transaction is successful, I can give you 2 Taoist rhymes for each portion of blood essence. 2 Taoist rhymes. Jean Yu's eyes immediately lit up. Is that what you said? I will send my good sisters to ask around. Wait for my news. I hope your luck attribute can bring me good luck. Isn't that so? Look at the direction Jean Yu, chose. Wait, don't go away. I will give you the mantra of my personal space. When the time comes, just bring them to my personal space. Okay. Jean Yu memorized Tsing Hui's mantra, and her figure quickly disappeared. I hope I have enough Golden Crow's blood essence and Shining Dragon's blood essence. Chapter 398. The intermediary fee of 2 Tao auras seemed to have given Jean Yu endless motivation. In less than an hour, Jean Yu had already appeared in Tsing Hui's personal space with 6 women of similar age to her. Your Excellency Pak Hui, sorry to keep you waiting. Come, let me introduce you. This is Yu Junru, the daughter of the Vice President of the Southern Path Chamber of Commerce. This is Gu Jinjin, the younger sister of the Vice President of the Rising Dragon Chamber of Commerce. This is Qi Cici, the granddaughter of the President of the Heaven Luo Chamber of Commerce. This is Jian Yun, the disciple of the President of the Vientiane Chamber of Commerce. Jean Yu stepped forward and introduced Tsing Hui to the identities of these people one by one. Because she knew of the friendship between Tsing Hui and the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, she did not call her close friends. But even so, the circle formed by the 7 of them was still enough to represent more than half of the business circle of Heaven Wasteland Domain. Even if 3 of the 6 people were not from the 6 major chambers of commerce, their influence still could not be underestimated. Your Excellency Pak Hui, they more or less have the blood essence of the Golden Crow, the blood essence of the Shining Dragon, and similar resources. I have already counted for you once. There are a total of 4 portions of Golden Crow blood essence, 2 portions of Shining Dragon blood essence, 12 portions of Golden Crow blood essence, 3 portions of Shining Dragon blood essence, and a remnant soul of the Golden Crow. Especially the Vientiane Chamber of Commerce of the Jianyun family. They found the corpse of a Golden Crow. The corpse of a divine Golden Crow can be used up to 60% or more. This is the treasure that the Vientiane Chamber of Commerce plans to auction in 3 months. If you can offer a high enough price, Sister Jianyun will definitely be able to persuade her master to sell the corpse of the Golden Crow to you. Jean Yu said enthusiastically, and soon handed the detailed list to Tsing Hui. 4 portions of Golden Crow blood essence, 2 portions of Shining Dragon blood essence, Golden Crow remnant soul, corpse. Tsing Hui's eyes swept across the list of items one by one. These things were really not cheap. Blood essence of the Golden Crow, 60 Tao auras. Shining Dragon blood essence, 58 Tao auras. The blood of the Golden Crow and the blood of the Shining Dragon were slightly lower in price, but they were not cheap either. They were about 10% higher than the market price, and some even reached 20%. The price is a little high. We don't have a choice. Although our statuses aren't low, we don't have much power in the Chamber of Commerce. If we want to get these treasures for Big Brother Pak Hui, we don't have the ability to do so without relying on a relatively high price. Gu Gujin from the Rising Dragon Chamber of Commerce said sweetly. As soon as she finished speaking, Qi Cici from the Heaven's Net Chamber of Commerce chimed in. However, I heard that Big Brother Pak Hui is acquainted with an incredible Voidwalker. If Big Brother Pak Hui is willing to recommend this Void Walker to our Chamber of Commerce and sign a delivery agreement with us, then he'll be one of us. Since he's one of us, then he'll naturally be able to get an internal price. When the time comes, we'll sell him to Big Brother Pak Hui at a lower price. That's right, that's right. If Big Brother Pak Hui is willing to persuade the Void Walker behind you to sign a contract with our Myriad Elephant Chamber of Commerce, then even if we only deliver once every 3 years, I'm still confident that I can lower the price of the Golden Crow's blood essence to 55 Dao auras for Big Brother Pak Hui. The 6 girls chattered incessantly. In the end, they hoped that Tsing Hui would sign an agreement with their Chamber of Commerce and deliver goods for them in the future. In the eyes of many people, personal space was the most useless feature. Usually, a first order was enough. If they wanted to upgrade their personal space to the 5th order, it was equivalent to wasting 4 chaos levels. This was an unacceptable thing for many cultivators. Therefore, unless it was a son of chaos, specially cultivated by the Chamber of Commerce, there were only a handful of people who were willing to spend 5 chaos levels on personal space. As for increasing the frequency of delivery by upgrading the incarnation technique, the incarnation technique was a feature derived from the 25th order. If they wanted to upgrade it to the 5th order, they would need to reach the 29th order. For many sons of chaos, this level was equivalent to their lifetime bottleneck. Who would be willing to waste it on the incarnation technique? Under such circumstances, the number of void walkers on the entire infinite wasteland was in short supply. A contract of 3 years, Tsing Hui pondered for a while. In any case, all the problems were pushed to the mysterious Dong Yang behind him, so he did not refuse. According to his purchasing ability, he quickly chose 3 Golden Crow's blood essence and 1 Torch Dragon's blood essence. The total price was 212 Dao auras. All of a sudden, the 341 Daoist rhymes it had just obtained plummeted to 129 Daoist rhymes. As expected, I can only choose one between consumption and speed. If I choose the Great Sun Profound Pill, I can cultivate my essential yuan to perfection in 30 years. If I don't use pills and only use the Great Sun Crystal to assist in cultivation, it will take 60 years. If I don't even have the Great Sun Crystal and the like, if I just use the Fire Spirit Crystal to cultivate, this number will double. Tsing Hui shook his head and said to Gu Jinjin, "You Jianru and Hunyuan, you 3 see when you have time. It's best to gather in one place. I will ask Senior Dong Yang to go to the place you mentioned. Let's meet at the Vientiane Chamber of Commerce. When Senior Dong Yang wants to go to the Infinite Wasteland domain, just let us know a few days in advance. We will prepare the spiritual imprint for Senior Dong Yang. I have time in the next few days. You can give me the spiritual imprint. You can prepare the goods whenever you want. If Senior Dong Yang happens to have time, how about we meet at the Vientiane Chamber of Commerce 3 days later? 3 days later? Sure. Then I'll have to trouble Brother Pak Hui to inform Senior Dong Yang. Jianyun bowed to Tsing Hui. Well, you come from a business family. I want to ask you, how can I contact Sword Master Bai Hung? Sword Master Bai Hung of the Rainbow Sword Sect? Sword Master Bai Hung is still active on the front line of the Chaos Temple recently. I'll ask for you. Jianyun's eyes lit up, and she hurriedly said. Soon, Jianyun already had news. The Rainbow Sword Sect also has a public branch in the Chaos Temple. Brother Pak Hui can use this technique to enter the Rainbow Sword Sect's window that specializes in selling goods and cultivation techniques. But because the Rainbow Sword Sect doesn't cooperate with the Void Walkers, unless it's a highly profitable transaction, they're not responsible for the delivery of goods. They usually only sell cultivation techniques, sword techniques, and other things. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. We should be thanking Brother Pak Hui. If you have such good business in the future, don't forget us. This is my contact method in the Chaos Temple. And mine. Brother Pak Hui, please take care of us. The others also hurriedly came forward and gave their contact methods. Tsing Hui memorized these techniques one by one. Although the level of chaos of these people was not high, their circle together was a force that should not be underestimated. At least in the future, if Tsing Hui wants to buy any treasures for cultivation, he will have a much wider channel than the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce alone. After the crowd left, Sing Hui did not waste any time. After exiting his personal space, he pinched a technique and soon appeared at the foot of a magnificent mountain. The Rainbow Sword Sect, as one of the forces of the One Temple, 3 sects, 6 religions, and 9 sects of Heaven Wasteland domain, was also a colossus. Just like the personal space in front of him, Sing Hui estimated that it should be more than 100,000 meters in area, which meant that it must be a personal space of the 5th order or above. However, the person who possessed such a personal space must have a distinguished status in the Rainbow Sword Sect, so they would not easily send down a transformation technique to deliver goods. Otherwise, if they were targeted and killed while he was using the transformation technique, it would be too late for regrets. That was why they announced to the public that they would not be responsible for delivering goods unless it was a highly profitable transaction. Sing Hui arrived at the foot of the mountain of the Rainbow Sword Sect. He could clearly see that there were many cultivators coming and going on the mountain peak. Most of these cultivators were people of the Rainbow Sword Sect, and only a few people were from outside the Rainbow Sword Sect. When Sing Hui looked up, he vaguely felt that there seemed to be an invisible force restricting them from climbing the mountain peak. Obviously, although the Rainbow Sword Sect had external business, the real purpose of this personal space was to provide transit for the internal members of the Rainbow Sword Sect. This gentleman is not a disciple of our Rainbow Sword Sect, right? May I know if there's anything I can help you with? Sing Hui looked at the foot of the mountain for a moment, and very soon, a young lady in a white dress with a sword hanging by her waist came up to welcome him. Back then, I made a deal with Sword Lord Bai Hung and purchased the Torch Sun Sutra's Immortality Realm cultivation technique from him. Now that my Immortality Realm cultivation has reached the Consummation Realm, I'm here to look for Sword Lord Bai Hung. I hope to learn the Torch Sun Sutra's Saint Six Dan cultivation technique from him. Ah, you wish to purchase the Saint Six Dan cultivation technique? You wish to purchase it all at once? Of course. Sir, you're truly an esteemed guest. Please come in. I'll help you make an appointment with Junior Granduncle Bai Hung. The young lady replied happily. She quickly led Sing Hui up the mountain peak, and soon they arrived at a courtyard near the waist of the mountain. When they arrived at the courtyard, a graceful and elegant woman was already waiting for them. She nodded to the young lady and gestured with her hand. I'm Hunyuan of the Rainbow Sword Sect's welcoming Sword Terrace. May I know how I should address you? Pak Hui. Mr. Pak Hui, please come in. We've already informed Junior Sister Bai Hung, and she's on her way. Junior Sister? Sing Hui glanced at the woman in front of him. Although her cultivation wasn't weak, Sing Hui estimated that she was at most at the Transcendent Realm, or even the True Energy Realm. With such a cultivation level, she actually addressed Sword Lord Bai Hung as Junior Sister. However, Sing Hui didn't go so far as to ask her about it. After thanking her for her trouble, he followed her into the guest courtyard. There weren't any snacks or tea in the guest courtyard, but there was a stick of dragon soul incense, which refreshed one's mind. Mr. Pak Hui looks extremely young. To be able to cultivate the Torch Sun Sutra's Immortality Realm cultivation technique at such a young age, and even come here to purchase a Saint Six Dan cultivation technique, you're truly overflowing with talent. Even in the entire Rainbow Sword Sect, such a person is truly rare. May I ask where Mr.'s master is? As Hunyuan spoke, she hurriedly added, Of course, if it's not convenient for Mr. to say, it's fine. Although I'm indebted to the guidance of all the seniors here, I don't have a true master. This is also the reason why I've come to your esteemed sect to purchase the Torch Sun Sutra's cultivation technique. You don't have a master? Hunyuan couldn't help but be moved when she heard this, and she hurriedly said, May I know if Mr. Pak Hui is interested in joining our Rainbow Sword Sect? Our Rainbow Sword Sect has always attached great importance to a genius like Mr. Pak Hui who's able to cultivate the Torch Sun Sutra. If Mr. is able to maintain the momentum of your cultivation and stand out from the rest, it wouldn't be difficult for you to become Junior Sister Bai Hung's disciple in the future. After all, Junior Sister Bai Hung is one of the 3 supreme experts of our Rainbow Sword Sect. If Mr. becomes her disciple, Mr. Pak Hui's future cultivation will definitely be smooth. Chapter 399. Join the White Rainbow Sword Sect. Singhui was taken aback for a moment before he shook his head. I'm not in the Infinite Wasteland region right now, and I'm far away from the sea. I'm afraid I won't be able to come to the Infinite Wasteland region anytime soon. Is that so? There was a trace of regret on Hunyuan's face when she heard this. Then, when Mr. Baisu comes to the Heaven Wasteland domain and wants to join a sect, you might as well carefully consider our Rainbow Sword sect. Although the relationship between you and junior sister Bai Heng is only a transaction, but there is also a trace of master-disciple relationship between the two of you. This is where the fate between you and our Rainbow Sword sect lies. I hope that this fate between the two of us can continue in the future. I hope so too, Singhui said. Hunyuan and Singhui chatted for a while before a figure appeared in the room. She was dressed in white, and her long hair fluttered in the wind. It was Bai Heng. Junior sister, you're here. Seeing Swordmaster Bai Heng appear, Hunyuan hurriedly stood up and looked at him with a trace of admiration in her eyes. Senior sister, Bai Heng said as she looked at Singhui. You're my deal partner? Yes. Singhui looked at Bai Heng. Any cultivator's true appearance would be slightly different from the one in the Chaos Temple. Swordmaster Bai Heng was definitely the same. However, even in the Chaos Temple, Swordmaster Bai Heng still had his bright eyes, white teeth, white skin, and jade bones. He gave off a feeling of purity under the cold moonlight. The new moon was like a beautiful woman, showing its first colors out of the sea. Back then, I had a deal with Bai Heng and obtained the Illuminating Sun True Scripture, inheritance of the 6th level of the Longevity Realm. I'm here in hopes of purchasing the 6th level of the Saint Realm Cultivation Technique from Bai Heng. Okay. Bai Heng nodded slightly. The 6th level of the Saint Realm Cultivation Technique has a total of 110 Tao rhythms. I've already prepared everything. There have been undercurrents surging in Heaven Wasteland domain recently. Even though we, the Rainbow Sword sect, have always kept to ourselves and did not make enemies with others, we still have to take precautions. Therefore, it is not appropriate for me to use my incarnation technique and travel far away for the time being. When the time comes, I will ask an elder of the sect to come forward and trade the Illuminating Sun Sutra with you. Singhui couldn't help but be slightly startled when he heard this. After a while, he reiterated, I hope to be able to trade with Swordmaster Bai Heng personally. Deal in person. Swordmaster Bai Heng muttered to himself. Since Mr. Pak Hui requested it, then, junior sister, the level of your incarnation technique is not high. If it was during peaceful times, the White Rainbow Sword sect would not have to worry as long as we do not offend others. However, now that the 3 great organizations of chaos in the Heaven Wasteland domain are ready to make a move and have the potential to dominate the Heaven Wasteland domain, even the 1 hall, the 3 sects, the 6 schools, and the 9 sects have begun to choose sides. As one of the 9 sects, our White Rainbow Sword sect's every move is closely watched. If someone were to plot against the White Rainbow Sword sect when you descend, Hunyuan was a little hesitant. It doesn't matter. Although there is a storm in the Heaven Wasteland domain, it is still the beginning of the rise of dragons and snakes, and there is no guarantee that a real war will break out. I will leave very quickly, and my real body will stay in the White Rainbow Sword sect. With the protection of the 2 ancestors, I will be fine. As Swordmaster Bai Heng spoke, his gaze turned to Singhui. Mr. Pak Hui, please give me your spiritual imprint. I will descend in 3 hours. Thank you, Swordmaster Bai Heng, Singhui said, handing over his spiritual imprint. It was reasonable for Swordmaster Bai Heng to make a special trip to the Heaven Wasteland domain since it involved 110 Tao rhythms. After discussing the deal, Singhui did not dare to let Swordmaster Bai Heng descend his incarnation in the Hunyuan Heaven sect and immediately stepped out of the training room on Qinglan Peak. Elder Singhui? Outside the training room, a woman and a man around 30 years old were guarding him. The woman's cultivation was lower, only in the spirit refining realm, while the man was at the peak of the spiritual unity realm. Seeing Singhui, the two were slightly startled and hurriedly stepped forward to salute, "Greetings, Elder Tsinghui." Tsinghui nodded to the two and was about to leave when he seemed to recognize the woman's identity. "So it's Princess Lanyu? You have already reached the spirit-refining realm. Congratulations." The woman was Princess Lanyu of the Wei High Kingdom, who had traveled with Tsinghui on the Hunyuan Airlines warship. Seeing that Qing Su still remembered her, Princess Lanyu felt rather flattered. "It's all thanks to the Tian Peng traversal saint technique that the great Elder Qing Su bestowed upon me. If it weren't for that saint technique and senior sister Nalan's care, I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I have today. Cultivate well and assist Nalan Fei wholeheartedly. In the future, your achievements will definitely not stop at the spirit-refining realm." "Yes, Lanyu will definitely remember." Qing Su nodded. With a leap, he shot off into the air. Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, who were standing guard outside, hurriedly went forward to greet him. Watching Tsinghui conversing with Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, a trace of envy flashed across the eyes of the spirit and Qi Unity stage expert who had sided with Nalan Fei. As expected of our Hunyuan Heaven Sect's most legendary Grand Elder. To think that he can chat so humorously with two Grand Elders. If there comes a day when I can converse with such a great figure, I will have no regrets even if I die. Princess Lanyu's eyes glinted as she watched Tsinghui leave on his sword after conversing with the two Grand Elders. The scene of her meeting with Tsinghui surfaced in her mind. "Speaking of which, Junior Sister Lanyu, you are acquainted with Grand Elder Tsinghui and were even given a saint technique by Grand Elder Tsinghui? What a great opportunity. I've never heard you mention this before." As the Spirit and Qi Unity stage expert spoke, her eyes were filled with envy as she looked at Princess Lanyu. "That was a very long time ago. I never thought that the great Elder of Qing Su would still remember a nobody like me with your current status," Jinshin said with a smile. "How about you tell me about it? I'm very curious about our Hunyuan Heaven Sect's legendary Grand Elder." The Spirit and Qi Unity stage middle-aged woman and Princess Lanyu soon began chatting. The person they were talking to, Tsinghui, had already left the Hunyuan Heaven Sect on his sword and was flying towards the Cloud Wilderness mountain range at his fastest speed. He had the Grade 9 flying sword, flowing fire, and had already condensed his origin energy and stepped into the Saint stage. At full speed, he was unbelievably fast and did not need to worry about being followed. After flying for a while, 6 hours later, the endless cloud, desolate mountain range was already in front of him. Estimating that Swordmaster by Heng's clone should be arriving soon, Tsinghui chose an open space that was easier to block from sight and quietly waited. He did not have to wait for too long. In just a few dozen seconds, Qing Su's heart skipped a beat. In the next moment, the energy of the world and the space before him had already condensed under the control of an invisible power. Before long, Swordmaster Bai Heng gradually appeared in his white robes, just like how he appeared in the chaotic Divine Hall. Although the appearance was exactly the same, compared to the appearance in the Chaos Temple, Swordmaster Bai Heng in the real world was clearly more vivid and lively. Even if she looked as bright as the autumn moon and had a quiet and serene temperament, she gave people the feeling that as long as she smiled sweetly, 10,000 flowers would pale in comparison. Unfortunately, that kind of colorful scene seemed destined to only be left for the people closest to her. Swordmaster Bai Heng, "You're Pakhui." Swordmaster Bai Heng looked at Tsinghui and actually had some impression of him. His beautiful and fair face had a trace of surprise. "If I remember correctly, you exchanged the Torch Sun Sutra with me 6 or 7 years ago." I didn't expect Swordmaster Bai Heng to still remember. It was indeed 6 or 7 years ago. At that time, Swordmaster Bai Heng took a fancy to me and even gave me a sword technique called the Sun Glory. Sun Glory. Swordmaster Bai Heng nodded and did not continue this topic. "Prepare the inheritance." Tsinghui immediately took out the item that contained 110 Taoist rhymes. Swordmaster Bai Heng did not hesitate and quickly absorbed the item that contained 110 Taoist rhymes. Then he nodded. Immediately, Tsinghui focused his mind and calmed his breathing. The moment he focused his mind, a brilliant pressure suddenly appeared and entered Tsing Hui's spiritual world with a vast and suffocating force. The moment Tsing Hui came into contact with this vast and mighty force, he could clearly feel the endless divine light emitted by this force and the mysterious figure that belonged to the torch dragon that appeared for a fleeting moment in the divine light. With the injection of this force, the profundities of the first level of the Saint Realm, the second level of the transformative stage, the third level of the eternal stage, the fourth level of the golden core stage, the fifth level of the Abhijna stage, and the sixth level of the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth appeared in his mind one by one. They displayed endless profundities and caused the torch dragon's divine soul in his spiritual world to roar to the heavens. It also activated the golden crow bloodline in his spiritual world, causing the blazing sun that belonged to the golden crow bloodline in his spiritual world to emit endless light. It reflected the divine light that was carried by Swordmaster Bai Heng's consciousness inheritance. After the Torch Sun Sutra, first to sixth levels of the Saint Realm circulated in Tsing Hui's mind, Tsing Hui already understood these techniques in his heart. Not only that, but through Swordmaster Bai Heng's comprehension of the Torch Sun Sutra, he had a new understanding of how to condense the true Yuan from the Torch Sun Sutra. He even had a feeling that, at this time, if he was willing to swallow the Torch Dragon's blood essence, he would be able to smoothly step into the true Yuan stage and catch up with the Golden Crow bloodline. I didn't expect you to still cultivate the Golden Crow bloodline and have cultivated the Golden Crow bloodline to the true Yuan stage before the Torch Dragon bloodline. It's extremely rare to cultivate two bloodlines at the same time and reach the divine grade in both bloodlines. Swordmaster Bai Heng's voice echoed in Tsing Hui's ears. It's just an opportunity. Tsing Hui said, "How's the progress of your Sword of the Sun Glory cultivation?" Tsing Hui seemed to hear Swordmaster Bai Heng's intention to give him pointers on this Sword of the Sun Glory, but thinking of this Sword of the Sun Glory, he said, "Speaking of this Sword of the Sun Glory, recently I have a new understanding of the Sword of the Sun Glory. Although I have not cultivated this sword technique to perfection, I have a new idea for the next sword form." A new sword form? Yes, the new sword form can only be cultivated after this Sword of the Sun Glory has reached the great accomplishment stage. At present, I have only deduced one form. Perhaps it cannot even be regarded as a beginner. It can only be said to be a theory. I call this sword form Sun Glory. Please appraise it. Chapter 400. Sunburst. Boom. The moment Tsing Hui finished his words, a dazzling light suddenly bloomed. Even though Qing Su had controlled his power when he slashed out, only compressing it to the level of true qi, the strike still shone with dazzling light the moment it was unleashed. Within the light, the two glorious sun swords seemed to collide with each other and fuse together when they were about to strike their target. The moment the two glorious sun swords collided and formed a completely new power, endless light immediately erupted. At that moment, all the trees, plants, and flowers within 100 meters were swept away by a destructive force, rapidly dispersing into nothingness. Scorching streams of light surged outwards, reaching a radius of several hundred meters. One must know that Tsing Hui had only used the strength of the true Qi realm. But the attack of the true Qi realm was actually not inferior to the full strength of a peak spirit refining realm cultivator. From this, one could see how mysterious the power of the sword was. "Who?" Qing Su let out a gentle sigh. He looked at the burning trees and said, "I'm sorry. I've only just derived this sword style through theory, so it's not complete yet. As a result, I can't control its power with great precision. The true Qi realm is the limit of my control. If I use the power of the green darkness realm, I'll only be able to unleash all of my energy like the Sword of the Sun. I can't guarantee its power. As for the true Qi, I still can't make the two swords of the sun condense from true Qi fused together and create a fusion effect." Wong Wong. As soon as Tsing Hui finished speaking, a wave of aura that was not strong but contained a biting cold pressure spread out from Swordmaster Bai Heng's body. The aura of Sword Master by Hung, who was originally an ordinary incarnation, rose to the true Qi realm in the blink of an eye. The level of spirit she injected into this incarnation was comparable to Tsing Hui's and even surpassed Tsing Hui's. This was already a main battle incarnation. This sword technique, Sword Master by Hung recalled the sword technique Tsing Hui had just displayed in his mind. A sharp sword condensed from essential Qi had already appeared in his hand. Compared to Qing Su, Sword Master by Hung, who had created the Sword of the Glorious Sun, which was equivalent to cultivating the Sword of the Glorious Sun to great perfection, clearly understood the principles behind the Sword of the Glorious Sun better. However, it was one thing to have a thorough understanding of it, but it was another thing to be able to do it as easily as Tsing Hui. She, who was in the Jinshi realm, had just tried to condense the Sword of the Glorious Sun. The next moment, the Sword of the Glorious Sun became extremely unstable and collapsed with a boom. Fortunately, Tsing Hui reacted quickly. With a press of his hand, relying on his strong control of the Qi of heaven and earth, the explosive power formed by the Sword of the Glorious Sun had been compressed into a blazing ball of fire by him, and then quickly dissipated. How did you do it? I simulated the sun to create the Sword of the Glorious Sun, but the power of the Sword of the Glorious Sun depends on its instability. It is this instability that allows the Sword of the Glorious Sun to erupt with power that is far beyond the current realm. But you can actually stabilize the Sword of the Glorious Sun and form two Swords of the Glorious Sun at the same time? Sword Master by Hung probed, looking curiously at Tsing Hui. Although you simulated the power of the Great Sun, what you saw was only the appearance of the power of the Great Sun, and you did not understand the principle of the formation of the power of the Great Sun. Your Sword of the Glorious Sun, in another way, is called the fission reaction. It detonates the power in the body through a special method, splitting one part into 2, 3 parts, or even more, thus producing a terrifying power that is far beyond ordinary attacks. However, because you do not understand the real reason for the fission reaction, you can only regard yourself as a fission reactor. Therefore, once the fission reaction occurs, you must pour out all the power. Otherwise, the fission power will detonate in your body, and the first one to die will be you. And because I understand the principle of the fission reaction, can rely on the special characteristics of the Golden Crow spirit and the Golden Crow natural Qi to form a fission reaction outside my body. Therefore, I can naturally control the power of the Sword of the Glorious Sun. Fission reaction? Regard myself as a fission reactor? What is that? And what is the sword that you deduced? Sword Master by Hung was a little confused. This was a brand new and unknown system. The sword technique that I've derived belongs to fusion. While the fission effect produces great power, it recombines and explodes with even greater power. If this sword technique can be derived to the extreme and perfectly control the effects of fission and fusion, it can form a cycle effect like a perpetual motion machine. It can form a true, blazing sun that constantly releases endless light and heat. Fang Xingzhan's eyes lit up as he looked at the sword technique. Speaking of this, Tsing Hui laughed. It will probably take a very long time for this effect to be truly realized. I have more or less understood the 3 stages of the transformative stage, the never-ending stage, and the Jindan stage, but these 3 stages should not have the ability to manifest a permanent blazing sun. However, starting from the Jindan stage, I can try to refine it into a fusion reactor. When I reach the transcendent stage, the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, and even the dominion stage, yes, the dominion stage, I will permanently integrate this artificial blazing sun into my domain, or this blazing sun will be my domain. At that time, my idea will truly be realized. Sword Master by Hung looked at Qing Su, who was speaking frankly, with a sliver of surprise on his face. This young man in front of her was obviously only at the true energy stage, but he had already set his goal of reaching the dominion stage without any reservation, and had even completed the concept of his domain. But for some reason, yet she actually believed it. If the person in front of her was an arrogant young man who only knew how to spout nonsense, then he was definitely the greatest liar of this century. After a long while, she organized her words and said softly, "Mr. Pak Hui, I wonder if I can make a deal with you to exchange the sword art that you deduced." Exchange this sword art. Sing Hui noticed the strange look in Sword Master Bai Heng's eyes and smiled. "Sword Master Bai Heng, I am indebted to you for imparting the sword of the glorious sun to me back then, and it was also because of the inspiration from your sword of the glorious sun that I deduced the embryonic form of this sword art. In order to repay your kindness, I am willing to impart this sword art, as well as the related theories of fission and fusion, to you. If this sword art is really a sword art that can reach the dominion stage, as you said, then it is too valuable. You also said that it has to be like what I said. Whether this sword art can turn into a dominion of the sun, as I deduced, and produce endless power through fusion, someone has to try it out personally. Sword Master Bai Heng, as an expert of the saint stage who has condensed a dominion, if you can verify my theory for me and point out the flaws of this sword art theory for me in the future, wouldn't it be a win-win situation? Understand. Sword Master Bai Heng nodded. Please enlighten me. I will directly condense a sword will and impart it to you. As Tsing Hui spoke, he stretched out his hand and tapped the space between Sword Master Bai Heng's eyebrows. Sword Master Bai Heng wanted to retreat, but after a while, he realized something and steadied himself. For a moment, the sword wills intersected, and Tsing Hui felt a vast and majestic will that was like an endless ocean surging toward him. This will was so powerful that it seemed to be able to distort the world and affect the worldview and consciousness of other cultivators. Not long after Tsing Hui's sword will penetrated into it, he felt as if he was being affected by Sword Master Bai Heng's sword will. This sword will, Tsing Hui's spirit was suddenly shaken, and in the next moment, he quickly sped up the output of his understanding of fission and fusion. Since Sword Master Bai Heng's consciousness was powerful, he did not have to worry that she would be injured even if he was a little rough. However, just as he was about to return after imparting his sword will, Sword Master Bai Heng's sword will moved slightly. At the next moment, a mysterious force followed Tsing Hui's sword will and rushed into his spiritual world. Then, it spread abruptly in his spiritual world. Suddenly, it was as if hundreds and thousands of Sword Master Bai Heng's silhouettes appeared in his spiritual world, revealing the process of her continuous sword practice, sword cultivation, and sword comprehension throughout her life. Throughout the process, what surprised Tsing Hui the most was her understanding of sword will. She had practiced swordsmanship for 3 years. Under the autumn moon, she had placed her thoughts on others and comprehended sword will. She had practiced swordsmanship for 36 years. She had encountered a calamity and passed away her parents. She was heartbroken and had achieved great success in her sword will. She had practiced swordsmanship for 84 years. She had sensed the changes in the world, yin and yang, the changes in the sun and the moon, and the cycle repeated itself. Her sword will had reached perfection. She had comprehended swordsmanship for 104 years. Her sword had transformed into the sun and developed the universe within it. Her sword momentum had taken shape. I've activated a secret technique here that can isolate ordinary people from sensing. I'll help you with my sword will. I hope that you'll reach perfection soon. Vaguely, there seemed to be some lingering words left behind by Sword Master Bai Heng in his spiritual world. Unfortunately, Tsing Hui was already immersed in comprehending Sword Master Bai Heng's sword will. He could not tell if these words were left behind by Sword Master Bai Heng, or if they came from the influence left behind by Sword Master Bai Heng's sword will. At this moment, he was doing his best to comprehend Sword Master Bai Heng's sword will. As he continued to comprehend, he gradually understood his own sword will and understood the true essence of his sword will. Sword will. What was sword will? The so-called sword intent was, in fact, a representation derived from idealism to the extreme. Through one's beliefs, one could influence, change, and destroy other people's beliefs. Sword will that was cultivated to the peak could even easily influence other people's worldview and cause their worldview to collapse. If sword will could transform into a sword momentum of a higher level, it would be so terrifying that it could partially influence materialism through idealism. To put it simply, one could use one's will to influence the outside world. This kind of influence was not as simple as sword kinesis or object manipulation, but under the premise that it was compatible with one sword will and could trigger a resonance with the sword will, he believed that the ordinary iron sword in his hand was a peerless divine weapon that could destroy everything. Then, this ordinary iron sword would become a true peerless divine weapon that could destroy gold and jade. He believed that this sword had a life and could transform into a human to come to life. This sword would truly come to life and give birth to a sword spirit. Create a life. This was the supreme realm of the sword force Tao. Chapter 401. The most fundamental point of martial will lies in the word faith. The faith of faith. One must have strong faith in order to condense one's own martial will, to comprehend the true essence of martial will, and to climb to the peak of martial will. Only by relying on this kind of unshakable martial Tao belief could he interfere with the operation of other people's wills and destroy their mental wills. So much so that after he transformed into a sword force in the future, he could use this kind of martial Tao belief and will to achieve the state of interfering with matter and the unseen laws. As for his martial will, his conviction, what was it? Sing Hui was confused and thought of the scene when he cultivated the Danyang Sword Codex and the initial sword intent. How did he condense the sword intent? Passion. Yes, passion for swordsmanship. At first, he joined the Danyang sword sect because he was in love with senior sister, Jiang Ningji. He was fascinated by Jiang Ningji's valiant appearance when she taught the disciples in the Danyang sword school. Later, when he joined the Danyang sword school, he found that he seemed to be strangely fascinated by swordsmanship. He enjoyed the joy of cultivating a new swordsmanship every day, enjoyed the carefree and unrestrained thrusts, enjoyed the fullness of the joy of practicing swordsmanship until his whole body ached, and enjoyed the achievement of a breakthrough in swordsmanship that was far from idling around. So, he was addicted. Then, relying on his outstanding talent in swordsmanship, he joined the Danyang sword sect. Not only could he learn magical swordsmanship, but he could also accompany senior sister Jiang Ningji day and night. About 2 years after he joined the sect, one night, when he was cultivating the Danyang Sword Codex, he suddenly forgot himself and was completely immersed in every movement of the sword. After one day and one night, after he cultivated the swordsmanship, he unknowingly condensed the sword intent. Pure. At that time, the reason why he could condense the sword intent was purely because he liked practicing swordsmanship, purely because he liked practicing swordsmanship, purely because he liked comprehending swordsmanship. There was no other reason. Then, with a little opportunity, he naturally stepped into the door of condensing the sword intent and even made a name for himself as a sword saint. But now, danger lurked everywhere. The eastern wilderness and heaven wasteland were filled with endless dangers. Senior sister Jiang Ningji was also a hindrance, urging him to cultivate as soon as possible and return to Earth to reunite. What was even more despairing was that there was no such thing as a sword cultivator in this world. Awakening the bloodline of divine beasts and developing the power of divine beasts had become the mainstream of this world. If he continued to pour his energy into the cultivation of the Danyang Sword Codex and tried to use it to comprehend sword essence, then no matter how strong his sword essence was and how it reached perfection, he would be easily crushed by cultivators who were far stronger than him. The sword Tao legacy of this world, decisiveness. If any true swordsman, or swordsman continue to walk down the path of their swordsmanship, they would only end up like everyone else. Sword Tao Doomsday. There is no sword Tao legacy in this world. There is no way to comprehend the sword, practice the sword, or cultivate the sword. It is simply a dead end. What I need now is incomparably powerful strength, to have the strength to shatter the vacuum and return to Earth. Therefore, in this world, I am destined not to be like the Danyang sword sect on Earth, a true sword cultivator who truly loves and is devoted to the sword. All I can do is to continue on the cultivation system of this world, follow the cultivators of this world, and continue to cultivate my own bloodline power until one day I can return Earth. Sing Hui muttered to himself. The next moment, the sword essence that he had painstakingly touched upon with the help of Sword Master Bai Heng collapsed with a bang and fell back to the level of great success. As for this so-called great success sword intent, it could not be called a true sword essence. At best, it could only be regarded as a martial will that had the form of a sword. It was far from the true sword essence in Sing Hui's heart. Sword essence is not important to me now. What I want is powerful strength. Therefore, I don't need to give the so-called sword essence too high of a purpose and mission. It only needs to be able to let me step into the realm of shattering the vacuum. Sing Hui thought to himself and began to reshape his sword essence. However, although it was called sword essence, it was actually just a kind of martial will. Thinking of Sword Master Bai Heng's experience of perfecting sword essence and evolving sword force, she had comprehended the Torch Dragon bloodline's ability to control the power of the sun and the moon through the rising of the sun and setting of the moon. Rather than saying that her sword essence was perfected, it was better to say that she had thoroughly comprehended the Torch Dragon's power and thus strengthened the Torch Dragon's powerful belief. Another example would be the transformation of the sword into the great sun and the development of the universe in the first level of sword force. Because she had once again comprehended the powerful Abijna possessed by the Torch Dragon, she made it into a true Great Sun, True God. Using the Great Sun, True God to transform into the Great Sun, it caused the sword will to transform and develop into sword force. At the same time, it condensed into a domain. Her sword essence originated from the Torch Dragon bloodline. If one day, someone told her that the Torch Dragon did not exist in this world, or that the Torch Dragon was not what she imagined it to be, her sword essence would quickly collapse. A kind of martial will that is completely entrusted to the bloodline one cultivates. Then, since I cultivate the Torch Dragon bloodline and the Golden Crow bloodline, does my martial will also have to be entrusted to the Golden Crow or the Torch Dragon? How is this martial will different from the self-deception of a loft in the sky? Sing Hui's brows were tightly knitted. However, how could not cultivate? Everyone in the world cultivated like this. The only thing he could do was to go with the flow. Even if he knew that this martial will might be aloft in the sky, and that as long as there was any problem with the Golden Crow or the Torch Dragon in his will, the sword essence that he had painstakingly cultivated for many years would completely collapse. What could he do without the true sword Tao? It was like when everyone in the world was a murderer. What else could he do other than become a murderer like everyone else? Even if he knew that this was wrong, he dared to point out these murderers, and only death awaited him. I have no other choice. The true sword Tao has long been extinct. Sing Hui was silent. After a long while, he had to refocus his mind. Since the path of true sword Tao had been cut off, then all he could do was rely on his divine beast bloodline to continue on the so-called sword Tao. Although the Torch Dragon bloodline has all kinds of magical powers, its combat strength is obviously too weak. Unfortunately, there are obvious traces of the sun in my sword essence. Even if I don't want to choose the Torch Dragon bloodline, I can only continue on this path. However, in the future, when the Golden Crow bloodline encounters a bottleneck, the idea of using the Torch Dragon bloodline to feed the Golden Crow bloodline to allow the Golden Crow bloodline to break through to a higher realm will be ruined. The Torch Dragon bloodline is linked to Sword Tao. If I really feed the Torch Dragon bloodline to the Golden Crow bloodline, my Sword Tao will naturally collapse. Sing Hui thought to himself. He had to rely on Sword Master Bai Heng's Sword Tao and the cultivation method of the Torch Sun Sutra to derive the true Sword Tao, hoping to perfect his Sword Tao as soon as possible and prepare for the derivation of sword force in the future. After an hour, Sing Hui stopped. He was silent. Not for now. The foundation of my sword Tao belongs to the true sword Tao, which is pure and sincere. Because of these foundations, if I want to conform to the cultivation system of this world to perfect my sword Tao, I have to corrode this sword Tao from its roots or even abolish it. The chaos war between the sky and the heavenly Tao is about to break out, and sword Tao also has the effect of stabilizing the spirit and strengthening the belief. Once I abolish the sword Tao that I have cultivated to great success and condense it again, it will take at least a few years to condense it again and cultivate it back to great success. Therefore, even if I want to abolish my sword Tao, I have to wait until the situation is more stable before I do it. Xing Hui felt that the sword Tao that belonged to Sword Master Bai Heng in his spiritual world was gradually fading away, and he could not help but feel regretful. If it were not for this series of problems, he was afraid that this time he would have naturally stepped into the perfect sword Tao, right? One had to know that only almighties and pinnacle almighties could push their will to such a level. Some almighties even retained their will in the realm of mastery. If he could complete his sword in 10 a day earlier, it would be of great assistance to his future cultivation. It's a waste of Sword Master Bai Heng's painstaking efforts. However, Sword Master Bai Heng has already set up a trap here, and ordinary people can't see the abnormality in this area at all. In addition, I have a new understanding of the cultivation of the Torch Dragon lineage, so I might as well directly refine the Torch Dragon blood essence here and push the Torch Sun Sutra to the true energy realm. When he thought up to this point, Qing Su did not waste any more time. He carefully went through the cultivation method of the 6th level of the Saint realm in his mind. Based on Sword Master Bai Heng's comprehension of condensing qi and his own understanding, he quickly came up with an idea. The divine sense inheritance had a great impact on the cultivator. The advantage was that the inheritor could have a certain impression of these cultivation methods in his mind. Often, only the closest master and disciple would choose the divine sense inheritance method when imparting the cultivation method. This was also the reason why the cultivation method sold by the great figures could be sold at such a high price. Xing Hui observed for a while and waited for 3 days. After adjusting his essence, energy, and spirit to the peak, he began to condense the true energy in the Torch Sun Sutra without hesitation. Compared to the world-scorching art, the Torch Sun scripture was much more neutral and peaceful. Even though the Torch Dragon was also known as the Great Sun God, the power it possessed was vast and mysterious. It was not as violent and scorching as the Golden Crow's bloodline. Coupled with the fact that the cultivation methods of immortal-level green ruins and saints were the same, it was much easier for them to condense qi compared to the Golden Crow's bloodline. With the help of the Torch Dragon blood essence, he only took half a month to completely step into the true energy realm. Considering that he had already started cultivating anyway, Xing Hui did not waste any more time and continued to focus on the remaining 3 portions of the Golden Crow blood essence. With the help of the True Energy Void technique, he swallowed the 3 portions of Golden Crow blood essence one by one and quickly refined them. Even though Qing Su had spent an entire 4 months to ensure that he could completely refine the energy within the 3 portions of essence blood without wasting any of it, his cultivation was still only at the peak of true essence when he completely refined all 3 portions of essence blood. He was still half a step away from truly reaching the great perfection of the transformative realm. I only need 1 more portion of Golden Crow blood essence. Even if I use half a month to refine this portion of Golden Crow blood essence and waste a part of it, it would be enough for me to step into the perfection stage of the true energy realm and then easily step into the perfection stage of the transformative realm. Unfortunately, Xing Hui glanced at the remaining 19 Taoist instrument with a helpless expression. Chapter 402. Only have 19 Tao carriers left. As for the Fortune Divine Jades, I've accumulated a total of 178 Tao carriers during this period of time. Xing Hui glanced at the template in his Chaos Temple interface. Without much hesitation, the Chaos level was upgraded from level 38 to level 39. Then his personal space, which had been upgraded to level 7, was upgraded to level 8. A level 8 personal space spanned tens of thousands of kilometers and could be called a world. If it could accommodate living people or objects, it would not be difficult for tens of billions of people to live in it. It should be noted that the diameter of the planet that Xing Hui came from was only 12,756 kilometers. My personal space has already reached level 8, and after another 22 days, I'll be able to raise the level of chaos to level 40. Once I reach level 40, a new characteristic will definitely appear. I wonder what this new characteristic skill will be. Xing Hui was vaguely curious. However, when he thought of a new skill that the level 40 characteristic might produce, Xing Hui's attention shifted to the deduction skill at level 35. The deduction skill allowed one to know Tai, Qi, Yin, and Yang, understand the 4 symbols and 5 elements, identify all things in the universe, and solve karma. It seemed a little mysterious. He wondered if he should upgrade his deduction technique to the next level after his personal space was upgraded to the 10th order. Shaking his head, Xing Hui's gaze fell on the carrier items again. I just need one more Golden Crow blood essence. One more. Xing Hui glanced at the many treasures in his personal space. The token of the world of battle could be sold for 100 Taoist rhymes. In addition, he had 9 primordial spirit cheese in his personal space. He had bought 10 of these primordial spirit cheese from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. He had planned to use the broken sword to sharpen his mind, but he did not expect that it would not be useful after upgrading the recovery characteristic to level 10. He had used 1 primordial spirit cheese on Duo G in the Chongqing continent, and kept the remaining 9 here, just in case. The chi of primordial spirit is a hot commodity. If I sell it now, even if those chambers of commerce have to charge some intermediary fees, it would not be a problem to sell it at 18 Taoist rhymes. Therefore, I might as well sell 5 of them and keep 4 for future use. Xing Hui weighed for a moment. Considering that Jianyun of the Vientiane Chamber of Commerce still had a portion of Golden Crow blood essence that he hadn't bought yet, he immediately activated the Chaos spell given by Jianyun and appeared in the personal space of the Vientiane Chamber of Commerce in the Chaos Temple. I'm Xiaoing from the Myriad Elephant Chamber of Commerce. Greetings to this mister. I wonder if this mister. As soon as Xing Hui stepped into Vientiane Trading Firm's personal space, he was immediately greeted by a young girl who looked less than 20 years old. I have a matter to discuss with Miss Jianyun of the Myriad Elephant Chamber of Commerce. Please inform her that Senior Dong Yang has a deal to discuss with her. Senior Dong Yang? The girl was slightly startled, and then she hurriedly said, Is it Senior Dong Yang, the new Voidwalker of our Vientiane Chamber of Commerce? Please wait inside for a moment. I will go and invite Miss Jianyun over. As the girl spoke, she summoned someone and took Xing Hui to another space to rest, while she sent a message to Jianyun. In less than half an hour, a beautiful figure stepped into the living room. Before she sat down, her voice was heard first. Mr. Pak Hui, you're here? But I haven't seen Mr. Pak Hui for several months. It seems that Mr. Pak Hui has been cultivating during this period. I'm afraid that he has already reached the great accomplishment stage. He's just one step away from the great accomplishment stage. Does your Vientiane trading firm still have Golden Crow blood essence? Yes, and there are 2 portions. One is Saint Stage Golden Crow blood essence, and the other is Divine Stage Golden Crow blood essence. Divine Stage Golden Crow blood essence? Has the Chaos Treasure Pavilion of the Vientiane trading firm reopened during this period? Yes. How much is the price of Divine Stage Golden Crow blood essence? This, Jianyun hesitated for a moment, but still said, Mr. Pak Hui should understand that the cultivation resources of the Divine Stage of Empyrean Wasteland are already extinct. If you want to obtain cultivation materials related to the Divine Stage, you have to join forces with the other Divine Stage experts and go deep into the outer sea to kill those divine beasts far away from human territory. Otherwise, you have to completely rely on the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Therefore, the cultivation resources produced by the Chaos Treasure Pavilion are naturally very precious. Xinghui nodded. How much is it? The auction price will not be lower than 200 Dao rhymes. So expensive? I remember that the number of Divine Stage Divine Beast Blood Essence is 81 drops. With 10 drops, just the blood alone is worth 1,600 Dao rhymes. How difficult is it to kill a Divine Beast? Not to mention how difficult it is to find a Divine Beast. It takes 3 or 4 experts of the Saint Realm to defeat a Divine Beast. If you want to kill a Divine Beast, it will take 5 or 6 giants of the Saint Realm. If you're not careful, you will be surrounded by a group of Divine Beasts. In the Outer Sea, where Divine Beasts and Saint Beasts wreak havoc, you will definitely die. Over the years, we have organized many large-scale operations to kill Divine Beasts. But in terms of casualties, on average, it takes 3 experts of the Saint Realm to kill a Divine Beast of the Saint Realm. These giants of the Saint Realm basically have divine skills, and sometimes they can be used as experts of the second level of the Saint Realm. Let me ask you, which is more important, 1,600 Dao auras or a giant of the Saint Realm more important? Xinghui shook his head. The number was obviously not calculated like that. A Divine Stage Divine Beast was worth more than 1,600 Dao rhymes. However, on average, 3 Divine Stage experts died. This number was really shocking. Xinghui did not continue to dwell on this issue. The Divine Stage Golden Crow Blood Essence was beyond his ability to purchase. Give me that Golden Crow Blood Essence. I have 5 portions of Primordial Spirit Qi. How much are you willing to buy it? 5 portions of Primordial Spirit Qi. Jianyun's eyes lit up. Primordial Spirit Qi is one of the most sought-after goods. If Sir Pakhui is willing to sell it to us, we are willing to buy it for 19 Dao rhymes. 19 Dao rhymes. This number was even higher than he had imagined. Then 19 Dao rhymes. Prepare the Golden Crow Blood Essence and 40 Dao rhymes item. Dong Yang will arrive at the Myriad Elephant Chamber of Commerce in a day. Sir Pakhui, please wait a moment. As far as I know, Xinjian's Rising Dragon Chamber of Commerce also obtained a Divine Stage Golden Crow Blood Essence not long ago. The corner of Xinghui's mouth twitched a little. They did not want him to have any Dao rhymes left. However, I'll buy it. 2 days later, Xinghui looked at the 2 portions of Golden Crow Blood Essence and the 4 Dao rhymes item in his personal space. He was speechless. As expected, there was a price to pay if one wanted to increase their cultivation level quickly. If he was really willing to stay in the True Element realm for 30 years, he would only need to spend less than 40 Daoist rhymes to cultivate his True Element realm to the perfection stage. However, in order to save 29 years of cultivation time, he increased the consumption of less than 40 Daoist rhymes to 220. Then, the next step is to make the best use of everything as soon as possible and push my cultivation level to the Transcendent stage as soon as possible. Once I reach the Transcendent stage, I will be able to forcefully conquer the Eastern Wilderness. Xinghui muttered to himself. Then, he refined the Golden Crow's Blood Essence without hesitation. After being replenished by the Golden Crow Blood Essence, the peak of the True Energy stage naturally accumulated to perfection and filled all the acupoints in his body. When his True Energy was filled to the maximum, Xinghui immediately controlled every bit of True Energy in his body and began to permeate it into the acupoints in his body, opening up all the joints of his True Energy. As these acupoints and joints were opened up, Xinghui's peak True Energy stage aura dropped rapidly. True Energy stage, Prominent Sage stage, Green Netherworld stage. Not long after, the energy waves in his body had disappeared completely and dropped to the level of the Green Netherworld stage. Transcendent stage. This was the Transcendent stage. He could perfectly control every bit of energy in his body. When he could continue to compress his energy until it was only left with the energy waves of the True Energy stage, he would be at the peak of the Transcendent stage. As for completely concealing all his energy and aura, that was the Golden Core stage. Almost there, It's a pity that the energy of the world-burning art is too overbearing. This state cannot be maintained for long, or else it will harm my body. Of course, this is related to the fact that I have just stepped into the transcendent stage and have yet to fully control the power of the transcendent stage. The energy waves that Xing Hui had compressed to the green netherworld stage recovered rapidly as he gave up control of his own energy. Not long after, he had recovered to the true energy stage. Next, it's the most important point of the transcendent stage. As Xing Hui spoke, a dazzling energy burst out from his body. Since he had cultivated to the true energy stage, this was the first time his golden crow divine body had seen the light of day. Instantly, endless light and heat burst out, burning the forest within a radius of several hundred meters into ashes. Let me see how much my attack power can increase after reaching the transcendent stage. Accompanied by a loud sound, the golden crow divine body suddenly let out a loud cry. In an instant, the entire mountain range turned into a sea of purgatory fire. Luckily, Xing Hui was currently in the cloud-desolate mountain range where there were few people. If it was in the outside world, the consequences of such a fierce attack would not be inferior to a natural disaster. Half an hour later, with a trace of helplessness on his face, Xing Hui left the cloud-desolate mountain range. The transcendent stage. In addition to being able to restrain one's aura and perfectly control one's own true energy waves, one can also use one's true energy to exert one's true energy to ensure that there is no loss of true energy. Strictly speaking, this is a method that allows the practitioner to use true energy more efficiently. But just like the true energy virtual technique can pour out all of one's true energy in one breath to unleash an attack that is far beyond one's realm, the most frightening thing about the transcendent stage is that he can mobilize all of his true energy in one breath and unleash a destructive blow that consumes all of his true energy. If a practitioner of the spiritual gray battle body unleashes all of his true energy in one breath, even a practitioner of the divine gray battle body would have to avoid the attack. Otherwise, it would be difficult to escape the fate of the divine gray battle body being destroyed. This was almost equivalent to a weakened version of the Sword of the Sun. However, compared to the Sword of the Sun, which used up all of one's true energy in one breath and had a single attack method, the Transcendent Stage expert could precisely control the output of his true energy. It was not necessarily a good thing to cultivate the true energy virtual technique to the great accomplishment stage too early and master a killing move like the Sword of the Sun. Just like this time, because he had already used the true energy virtual technique and the Sword of the Sun, the increase in his strength from the breakthrough of the Transcendent Stage was far less significant than that of other Transcendent Stage experts. In terms of benefits, the only benefit was that he did not encounter any bottleneck from the true energy stage to the Transcendent Stage. That was all. Chapter 403. I don't have enough Tao carriers at all. In pursuit of speed, I spent a total of 220 Taoist rhythms on the divine grade vital essence I cultivated with the world-burning art. It won't be easy to cultivate the Torch Dragon bloodline, especially since the amount of Torch Dragon blood essence produced is much less than that of the Golden Crow. Once it appears, I must find a way to obtain it. Otherwise, I don't know when the next time I encounter it. Therefore, I must always have enough Tao carriers on me to be prepared. It would be best if I could obtain the divine stage Torch Dragon blood essence in one fell swoop. While flying in the direction of the Hunyuan heaven sect, Xing Hui also diverted a portion of his consciousness into his personal space in the Chaos Temple. After his consciousness entered his personal space, the first place he looked at was the Sun of Chaos interface. After raising his Golden Crow bloodline cultivation to the peak of the true energy realm, Xing Hui was only 22 Taoist rhythms away from becoming a rank 40 Son of Chaos. Later, he went into closed-door cultivation to refine a portion of Golden Crow blood essence and step into the transformative realm, which took him more than half a month. After some delay, 22 days had passed. The Taoist rhythms accumulated in the fortune jade had reached 100, enough for him to raise the chaos level again. I wonder what kind of characteristics a rank 40 son of chaos will develop. As Tsing Hui spoke, he was about to raise his chaos level. Suddenly, he seemed to sense something and his expression changed. The next moment, he burst out at full speed like a stream of light, about to push the 9th grade flying sword, flowing fire to the limit. But before he could push his speed to the limit, a vast and majestic force descended from the sky, carrying an invincible might as it slammed into Tsing Hui's body, causing Tsing Hui to plummet rapidly from the sky. For figures wielded arcane artifacts as they stood in 4 different directions, rapidly sealing off the entire space. To no surprise, the ones who attacked him were 3 transformative experts who radiated with the presence of divine arts. The 3 transformative experts worked together and suppressed him with a single strike, forcefully stopping Qing Su from fleeing. Enlightened Master Tianding. Enlightened Master Golden Cicada. Looking at the 3 powerhouses who obviously had divine techniques, Tsing Hui's expression gradually became dignified. Spiritual Master Tianding and Spiritual Master Golden Cicada were the pinnacle existences of the Create, Evolve Mysterious sect and were well known on the Heaven Wasteland list. As for the transformative realm expert who had teamed up with them, his aura was even more terrifying than that of Spiritual Master Tianding and Spiritual Master Golden Cicada. Clearly, he was a hidden pinnacle expert of the Create, Evolve Mysterious sect. Other than enlightened being Tianding, enlightened being Golden Cicada, and the mysterious enlightened being Beidou, there were 4 transcendent state cultivators and 10 true energy realm cultivators who were eyeing them covetously. It was as if the entire creation mystical sect had turned out in full force. The creation mystical sect really thinks highly of me, Tsing Hui. In order to deal with me, they actually mobilized all the experts they could. Even Taoist Tianding and Taoist Golden Cicada, who were responsible for intimidating the Wuji Sword sect's lifeless sword master and ancestor stone sword, were sent over. Aren't you afraid that the Wuji Sword sect and the other forces will sense that your Create, Evolve Mysterious sect is empty and swarm over to take back the territory that your Create, Evolve Mysterious sect had previously occupied and counterattack? Tsing Hui looked at the 17 experts who had surrounded him in the void, and the expression in his eyes gradually turned cold. Cho Tsing Hui, you have repeatedly gone against our Create, Evolve Mysterious sect. If we don't kill you, it won't be enough to appease the anger in our hearts. Even if we have to pay a price today, we must kill you here, and no one will be able to save you. Spiritual Master Beidou said in a deep voice. That's right. If the Wuji Sword sect and the other forces want to invade our Create, Evolve Mysterious sect's territory, then let them do so. In fact, we even estimate that even if our Create, Evolve Mysterious sect's door is wide open, the Wuji Sword sect will still have to be careful to see if there are any traps inside. As long as we are fast enough, we can definitely return to the sect immediately after killing you. If we are lucky, we can even inflict a heavy blow to the Wuji Sword sect. We can't be bothered about the others, but Cho Tsing Hui, you are a proud son of heaven. Today, our Create, Evolve Mysterious sect has mobilized more than half of our forces to kill you. The only thing that awaits you is death. The words of the few transcendent experts were filled with killing intent. When they thought of the humiliation that Tsing Hui had brought to the Create, Evolve Mysterious sect time and time again, they couldn't wait to crush his bones and scatter his ashes. However, considering the task that Taoist Master He Tian had given them, they had no choice but to vent their anger with words. They also wanted to give Tsing Hui some time to seek help from esteemed Zhu Zhao. I think your Create, Evolve Mysterious sect really doesn't want to survive in the Eastern Wilderness. I didn't go looking for you, but you came knocking on my door first. Since that's the case, I'll send you on your way in advance. Then I'll directly kill my way into your mountain gate and uproot your entire Create, Evolve Mysterious sect. As Tsing Hui spoke, the aura around his body suddenly surged. He cast the divine art, and in the next moment, the golden crow divine body that emitted endless divine light appeared behind him. Endless light and heat spread out in a mighty manner. In just a few breaths, the temperature in the void had risen sharply. Eternal resplendent. After casting the golden crow divine body, Xinghui completely disregarded the consumption of his true yuan. The golden crow divine body's strongest killing move, eternal resplendent, was immediately cast. A terrifying explosion formed a strong light that pierced through the clouds, shining brilliantly in a radius of dozens of kilometers. Watch out! This is the golden crow divine body's area of effect killing move, eternal resplendent. Even true energy realm experts will be killed on the spot if they were hit by it. Attack with all your might. Tear this light apart. The transformative realm and true energy realm experts of the Create evolved mysterious sect shouted at the same time. One by one, they manifested the power of their divine bodies. Shadows of spirit beasts and divine beasts of different shapes roared and rushed into the endless brilliance formed by eternal resplendent. Each of them displayed their divine powers and had the potential to completely tear this flame brilliance apart. Is it going to work? Xinghui sneered. In the next moment, the true Yuan Qi Void technique, or rather, the technique that only the transformative realm experts could use to precisely control their true Qi was activated. 30% of the true Yuan in his body was compressed by him in one breath and turned into the eternal resplendent light again. In an instant, a more violent light and flame swept across the void. The explosion created a large area of extremely high temperature, heating and compressing the surrounding air, causing it to rapidly expand and create an unprecedentedly high-pressure shock wave. Moreover, as Xinghui gradually understood the element fission, while the eternal resplendent formed a strong light radiation in the surrounding air, it also produced various kinds of rays and radioactive fragments. The strong pulsed rays radiated outwards and interacted with the surrounding substances, causing the intensification and disappearance of the electric current. As a result, an even more violent electromagnetic pulse was produced, causing the eternal resplendent, which could only cause damage to true energy realm experts, to become even more powerful. Oh no! Wait, this is not the normal eternal resplendent. Damn it, retreat. 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 Transformative realm. Transformative realm. He has already broken through to the transformative realm and used the means of the transformative realm to produce a power that is far beyond the normal eternal resplendent. Quick! Stop this destructive power. All sorts of cries of shock and agony rang out from the creation mystical sex crowd. Even though Taoist Tianding, Taoist Golden Cicada, Taoist Beidou, and a few other peak experts who relied on divine arts to possess endless realm battle prowess, roared furiously and unleashed their innate abilities with all their might, they were still unable to fend off this round of resplendent eternity. In an instant, the two true energy realm experts who were closest to Yi Shiwen screamed miserably as they were torn into pieces by the various radiations, shock waves, and electromagnetic pulses. Even the remaining true energy realm and transformative realm experts were more or less affected. They screamed and retreated rapidly. Leave! Do you think you can leave? Amidst the endless explosions and resplendent light, Xinghui sneered. His figure was like a messenger of death walking in flames. He had already broken through the blockade of Taoist Golden Cicada, Taoist Tianding, and Taoist Northern Dipper, who were trying their best to stop the explosive power of the eternal resplendent. The huge figure of the golden crow divine body swept up a dazzling grand sun true fire and charged toward one of the transformative realm experts who had sealed off the void. This transformative realm expert was Dao Kemming, one of the three founding elders of the Create evolved mystical sect who was in charge of handling the sect's affairs. The moment Xinghui's claw came down with the power of the golden crow divine body, Dao Kemming let out a roar. At the same time, the aura of the divine arts appeared on his body. His spiritual battle body expanded and released a mighty, thunderous attack, trying to confront the sharp claw of the golden crow divine body head-on. The moment the two forces collided in the void, a ball of fire seemed to condense under the sharp claw of the golden crow divine body. An energy more violent and raging than the eternal resplendent turned into a dazzling divine sword and slashed into Tao Kemming's battle body. Then it exploded. Sun glory, rumble. The scale of the glorious sun sword was smaller than the previous resplendent eternal sword, but its power was not much inferior. Carrying endless light and brilliance, the glorious sun sword completely blasted Tao Kemming's manifested body into ashes. Ah! Tao Kemming screamed as the golden crow divine body's sharp claws tore into his body. Spiritual Master Tian Ding, Spiritual Master Golden Cicada, Spiritual Master Beidou, and the others roared furiously as the golden crow divine body's claws incinerated the creation mystical sect's transcendent cultivator. No, Martial Uncle Dao, Chot Xinghui, I want you dead. Immortal Tian Ding, Immortal Golden Cicada, and Immortal Beidou seemed to have gone mad as they manifested their battle bodies. The phantoms of the tongue serpent, Golden Cicada, and Bian roared toward the sky and pounced on Tsing Hui's golden crow divine body. You're courting death. Tsing Hui's fierce roar rolled out from the endless flames. Then, the endless light of the golden crow divine body erupted again. A new round of eternal resplendent bloomed, and the world was swallowed by the terrifying light and flames again. Kill. After using the resplendent force of the eternity to block the attacks of the three peak experts, Qing Su shot through the air again. Like a streak of light, he heavily collided with the battle avatar of a true energy realm expert. Dazzling flames of the grand sun shot out from the golden crow avatar, tearing the battle avatar of the true energy realm expert to pieces in a single instance. Afterwards, the golden crow avatar slashed down, and the true energy realm expert was quickly reduced to ashes as he screamed out. Today, let's see how many people of the Create Evolve mystical sect can leave the Hunyuan mountain range alive. Updated 10:10. Continue tomorrow. Even if I have to risk my life, I have to complete this week's double 10 explosion. In addition, now is the double monthly votes period. If you have monthly votes, please support Qingfen. Chapter 404. How could this be? How could this be? This, too powerful. This kind of strength is simply too powerful. In a forest not far from the battlefield, three figures watched the fierce battle in the air. Their eyes were filled with surprise and even shock. One of them was Dao Xuani, the sect leader of the Create Evolve mysterious sect, and the other was Dao Xianfeng, the former sect leader who had broken through to the transformative state. These two old sect leaders of the Create Evolve mysterious sect were so shocked that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets when they saw Tsing Hui slaughtering the Create Evolve mysterious sect's people in the void. The other person who was shocked, it was Dao Master He Tian. To be more precise, he had sent down a golden core realm clone, waiting for the venerable Zhu Zhao to respond to Qing Su's call for help. He was the Tao Lord of Black Heaven who would kill the venerable Zhu Zhao in a single stroke. However, the development of the situation had obviously exceeded his expectations. Divine Grade Golden Crow, combat body. Moreover, it is said that he has cultivated two meridians at the same time. From the looks of it, his Golden Crow divine body has reached the transformative state, and it is only a matter of time before his Torch Dragon divine body reaches the transformative state. Zhu Zhao has really taught a good disciple. I didn't expect such a genius to exist in a remote continent like the Eastern Wilderness. If he is in danger, Zhu Zhao will definitely not turn a blind eye. Dao Master He Tian looked at Tsing Hui, who was slaughtering in the void, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Of course, Zhuo Qingshu's combat prowess was nothing to him, who stood at the pinnacle of the cultivation world and was second only to the divine, invincible giant. However, Zhuo Qingshu's outstanding talent was truly astonishing. He had never imagined that esteemed Zhu Zhao had unwittingly cultivated such a genius disciple in the eastern wilderness. If Zhuo Qingxu was allowed to continue growing, he might become another broken sword or Yulan. Esteemed envoy, please save the elders of the creation mystical sect, all right? Chotsing Hui's strength is far more terrifying than we thought. In these few months, not only did he break through to the true energy realm, but he also stepped into the transformative state. With the strength of his golden crow divine body, he has become the most powerful person in the eastern wilderness. If this goes on, it won't be long before all the elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect will be killed by him, and he will break through the blockade of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect and escape. Dao Xianfeng at the side hurriedly. A bunch of trash. You can't even handle such a small matter. Not only did you spoil my plan, you even had to make me do it. Dao Master He Tian reprimanded Dao Xianfeng with dissatisfaction. Dao Xianfeng did not dare to refute and repeatedly said, Esteemed envoy, it's not that our Create Evolve Mysterious sect is not capable enough, but Chou Tsinghui is too monstrous. Since he became the disciple of esteemed Zhu Zhao, his speed of growth has broken our limits time and time again, beyond our imagination. When we thought he was still in the green hell realm, he had already cultivated to the vision divine stage and easily killed 2 of our supreme elders. When we thought we understood his strength and besieged him, he unleashed the power of the golden crow divine body and the torch dragon divine body. Coupled with the recovery characteristics of the 10th level, he directly turned the situation around and caused us to suffer heavy losses. Now, in just a few months, he has broken through the barrier between the longevity realm and the saint realm, and has become a top figure in the saint realm. Moreover, he has directly stepped into the transformative state of the 2nd level of the saint realm. It's simply impossible to measure with common sense. On the side, Dao Xuani hurriedly chimed in as well. Lord Envoy, you may not know this, but this child Qing Su's talent has indeed far exceeded our imaginations. His talent might even surpass Qin Jian and Yulan, the 2 capable disciples that esteemed Zhu Zhao nurtured earlier. This boy's talent is actually above Savage Sword and Yulan. These 2 people are top geniuses who have cultivated to the almighty realm in less than 300 years. Their talent is so high that it's quite rare even in infinite region. Esteemed envoy, do you know how long it took Chou Tsinghui to cultivate to this realm? How long? 8 years. Only 8 years. Dao Xuani said confidently. Before Chou Tsinghui became esteemed Zhu Zhao's disciple, his talent was ordinary. He lived for 22 years in vain and was only at the Tendon's transformation realm in the mortal realm. However, after he became esteemed Zhu Zhao's disciple and received guidance from esteemed Zhu Zhao, he cultivated to the transcendent realm of the 2nd level saint realm in just 8 years. Moreover, he cultivated the golden crow and the torch dragon divine body. His talent is so high that it's simply incredible. If this boy is not eliminated and continues to grow at this speed, I'm afraid that in 10 or 20 years, he will definitely become a powerful person. In 8 years, he cultivated from a mortal to the transcendent realm of the 2nd level, saint realm. Moreover, his combat strength is so strong that under the enhancement of the divine skill, he is almost as strong as an ordinary gold core expert. Dao Xuani's words finally made Dao Master He Tian take it seriously. If such a monster was allowed to continue to grow, it was not impossible for him to surpass Savage Sword and Yulan and reach a higher realm in the future. Thinking of this, Dao Master He Tian could not be bothered to continue watching the show. He waited for esteemed Zhu Zhao's incarnation to arrive. In a flash, he rushed toward the battlefield in the void. If I can't destroy esteemed Zhu Zhao's incarnation, then killing a genius disciple that you have spent so much effort to cultivate will not be in vain. Chou Tsinghui, die. Dao Master He Tian roared. Behind him, a huge black shadow appeared. It seemed to be a divine beast, heavenly rock. A powerful divine soul pressure mixed with a vast and majestic energy impact, came crashing down. Xing Hui, who was fighting fiercely with the transcendent realm and true energy realm experts of the Create, Evolve, Mysterious sect, suddenly changed his expression. Impossible. How can there be such an expert in the Create, Evolve, Mysterious sect? Xing Hui was shocked. He immediately released his true energy and was about to retreat. However, at this moment, Downlord Black Heaven slammed down with his empty hand. The palm strike contained a power that could make the soul sink. As this clone of his was originally meant to deal with Venerable Zhu Zhao, the strength of the soul in the clone had basically reached 90% of his original strength. Even though Qing Su's cultivation had broken through time and time again in the past few months, and the level of his soul had risen from the 88th step to the 89th step under the nourishment of the essence Qi, he was still bewildered by the mysterious power in the palm strike that seemed like a bottomless abyss. The moment he suddenly woke up, Downlord Black Heaven's thunderous strike had already landed on the golden crow above him with devastating power. Rumble. A mighty and terrifying explosion swept out with the golden crow divine body as the center. The invincible power of Tao Master He Tian, which was far beyond that of an ordinary golden elixir realm expert, destroyed Xing Hui's golden crow divine body in the Create, Evolve, Mysterious sect's transformative realm and true energy realm experts in the Create, Evolve, Mysterious sect and exploded into flames. It was as if a scorching sun had fallen in the void. Endless light and heat dyed the area dozens of kilometers in a dazzling radiance. The moment the golden crow divine body was destroyed, Xing Hui's divine soul was violently impacted. His face turned pale and blood gushed out of his 7 orifices. The incarnation of an almighty. The incarnation of an almighty. This is the incarnation of an almighty at the pinnacle. Xing Hui immediately recognized the identity of the figure that carried a mighty and majestic aura. His heart suddenly felt as if it had fallen into an endless abyss and became cold. The incarnation of an almighty was already extremely powerful. The power of an almighty at the pinnacle was even more terrifying. What made Xing Hui feel the most despair was that this almighty at the pinnacle had actually sent down a golden elixir realm main battle incarnation. This incarnation was an extremely huge burden even for an almighty at the pinnacle. If his incarnation technique was not high enough, the weakening effect of such a main battle incarnation would be enough to cause him serious injuries. The Create, Evolve, Mysterious sect was only a subsidiary force of the heavenly Tao. How could it be worthy of an almighty at the pinnacle of the heavenly Tao sending down a golden elixir realm main battle incarnation? Could it be that the Create, Evolve, Mysterious sect master was the descendant of this almighty at the pinnacle? You can actually survive one of my attacks, as expected of the golden crow divine body. However, this is the end. The Black Heaven Tao master's voice reverberated in the void. In the next moment, a terrifying power that seemed to be enough to cause the void to crack continuously condensed in his palm. Even though it was just the beginning, the despairing power that was emitted from it already made Xing Hui feel a suffocating pressure. Under the pressure of this power, Xing Hui could not resist. Even the inner yuan in his body seemed to have slowed down and almost stopped. Divine Soul. Divine Soul. This is the power of the Divine Soul. The effect of the golden elixir realm cultivation coupled with the divine soul of an almighty at the pinnacle was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Torch Dragon. Completely ignoring the injuries on his body, Xing Hui let out a long roar. His powerful spiritual consciousness evolved into a sword of will and brazenly cut through the interference brought about by the Black Heaven Tao Master's divine soul. At the same time, the Torch Dragon divine body brazenly appeared the moment the golden crow divine body was destroyed. It was like a firefly trying its best to flicker its own light under the bright moonlight. Light sense deprivation. Child's play. It's useless no matter how much you struggle. The Downlord of the Black Heavens displayed an invincible and domineering stance as he broke free from the innate ability of the Green Ruins Torch Dragon in an instant. The claw that could distort space and shatter the vacuum of space once again grabbed at the Torch Dragon. Even though the Green Ruins Torch Dragon tried his best to retract the power of the Torch Dragon, the powerful divine body that could easily crush ordinary transcendent realm experts was still crushed to pieces the moment it came into contact with the Tao Lord of the Black Heavens. It was too big. The gap was too big. A trace of despair appeared in Tsing Hui's eyes as he watched the Torch Dragon divine body explode into a mighty torrent of energy. With his current strength, he might be able to fight against a real golden elixir realm expert. Perhaps it would be difficult for him to win, but it was absolutely impossible for him to be beaten so miserably and without the ability to fight back. However, Tao Lord Black Heavens could not be measured by the standards of an ordinary Golden Core Realm expert. He did not even need to use any innate skills. He had easily crushed Tao Lord Black Heaven's 2 divine-grade battle bodies with his own strength. Powerful. This was a kind of suffocating power. Does power come from the front and back? Let's continue. I can't stop it all. Chapter 405. Good. Kill him. Kill him. He is indeed the dark sky Taoist master. The heavenly Tao emissary is too powerful. Cho Tsing Hui's Golden Crow divine body was able to defeat all of us and even killed Master Tao Ku and 3 founding elders. However, he is so vulnerable in front of the great dark sky Taoist master. His 2 divine grade battle bodies were easily crushed. Cho Tsing Hui, no matter how talented you are, you will definitely die in front of the dark sky Taoist master's incarnation. Even if your master comes, he won't be able to save you. Seeing the invincible dark sky Taoist master, the transcendent realm experts, and true energy realm, founding elders of the Create, evolved mystical sect felt lucky that they had survived Tsing Hui's attack and could not help but feel excited. Especially when they saw that the dark sky Taoist master had crushed Tsing Hui's 2 divine grade battle bodies with just 2 attacks. They were so surprised that they could not help but cheer. Cho Tsing Hui, how dare you go against the Create, evolved mystical sect? We have a backer. Today will be your doomsday. Dao Xianfeng and Dao Xuani, who were originally worried, heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that Tsing Hui's 2 divine grade battle bodies were crushed one after another. With the Golden Crow body and the Seraphic Dragon body destroyed, Qing Su was no different from a tiger whose fangs and limbs had been broken. Even if his master, the Reverend Zhu Zhao, were to descend in person right now, any transformational expert of the creation mystical sect would be able to find the time to kill him in a single blow. At this time, he could completely rest assured and boldly say that Cho Tsing Hui, it's over. I can't escape. I won't be able to escape using conventional means. I'll definitely die. Although Tsing Hui was close to despair because of the dark sky Taoist master's power, he did not completely collapse. Survival. His only chance of survival was the various abilities given by the Son of Chaos. It was obviously inappropriate to place a drop of essence blood in his personal space and project it to an unknown location with the incarnation technique. His personal space had not been upgraded to the 8th level, so it was not enough for him to use the so-called immortal body tactic. Then, the only way to save his life was to use the teleportation technique. Teleportation, cooldown time, 1 year. If he could upgrade teleportation to the 2nd level, there would be 2 possibilities. One was that his teleportation technique could cover a distance of 2 worlds. As for the other, the cooldown was reduced by half to half a year. More than 10 months had passed since he had returned from the Fortune mainland. If he could really shorten the cooldown time by half a year after upgrading his transmission technique to the 2nd order, then he could use the transmission technique to escape. Even though there was only half a chance, he couldn't afford to hesitate in this life and death situation. As he frantically fled for his life, his consciousness had already entered the Chaos Temple without any hesitation and focused on the Chaos Sun level. As the ranks of the Son of Chaos blurred, the value of the 39th level rose directly to the 40th level. Teleportation. The moment he raised the level of Chaos, Tsinghui couldn't care less about his personal space that had been upgraded to rank 8, and directly looked at the teleportation spell at the back. But since he was the first to turn his gaze to the back, he naturally saw the Quan Xing characteristic that was derived when Chaos was upgraded to level 40. Backtracking technique. The moment Tsinghui's gaze swept over this name, all kinds of mysteries of this characteristic naturally appeared in his mind. After activating backtracking technique, a time marker will be born on my body. After 24 hours, my condition will be reversed to the moment the time marker was born. After 24 hours, my condition will be reversed to the moment the time marker was born. This method reverses time and space, reverses one state of life. In other words, as long as he activated backtracking technique and set up a time marker on himself when he was in good condition, no matter what kind of damage he received during these 24 hours, even if his bones were ground to dust and his soul scattered, he would still be able to return to his original state 24 hours ago. If he chose to place this chaos rank on the teleportation technique, he could reduce the cooldown time of the teleportation technique, and the probability of using it to escape would be 50%. As for the backtracking technique before him, although he had never used it before, and there was no detailed information about it, but based on the current situation, it would be better for him to preserve his life. Time was of the essence, and Tsinghui didn't dare to hesitate at all. Without hesitation, he selected the backtracking technique and paused for less than a millisecond before activating it. The moment the backtracking technique was activated, Tsinghui could feel a strange change in his body. His body became extremely sensitive to the passage of time, and he could even sense the passage of a millisecond, let alone a second. However, apart from this slight change, he didn't feel any discomfort or abnormalities. At this moment, Taoist Master Black Heaven's attack finally landed on him. The mighty and terrifying heavenly rock shadow carried with it an aura that seemed to be able to swallow the world. Before the attack even reached him, the terrifying aura that far exceeded that of a golden core expert had already caused his body to uncontrollably start to break apart. The golden crow divine body shattered, the torch dragon divine body shattered, and he, who had lost his strongest technique, had no room to resist at all. Die! Along with a calm and matter-of-fact roar, Tsinghui's body exploded on the spot and exploded into ashes. Taoist Master Black Heaven clenched his fist, and the space within a few hundred meters was constantly distorted and chaotic. Any remaining vitality and microbes in this area were all annihilated. I thought he could bring me a little surprise, but I didn't expect him to be so weak. Taoist Master Black Heaven waved his hand, and the distorted space returned to normal. Dead. Dead? Dao Bian, Fan Tian, Immortal Golden Cicada, Immortal Tianding, Immortal Beidou, and Dao Xuani, Dao Xianfeng, and the others who hadn't participated in the battle earlier flew over at the same time with a trace of astonishment on their faces. Zhuo Qingxiu, what kind of terrifying genius was he? The Create Evolved Mysterious sect had gone all out to kill Tsinghui, but they had suffered heavy losses at the hands of Tsinghui. In the blink of an eye, they had lost a transcendent state ancestral patriarch and 3 true essence realm overlords. They were almost facing the tragic fate of being wiped out last time. However, such a terrifying figure, who had caused the Create Evolved Mysterious sect to suffer heavy losses, couldn't even last 3 rounds in front of the powerful Taoist Master Black Heaven's clone and was killed on the spot. Even though he had the recovery ability of the rank 10 and could be reborn from a drop of blood, watching Taoist Master Black Heaven destroy all the vitality within a few hundred meters was enough to kill him. What else can I do? He's just a cultivator of the transcendent state. Do I have to spend too much effort to kill him? Even if he has a divine battle body, he has to wait until he reaches the peak of the Golden Core realm before he has a chance to fight with me. Taoist Master Black Heaven said indifferently, "The exalted emissary is mighty. We deserve to die for doubting your power. The exalted emissary is naturally infallible. Killing a little Chotsing Hui is as easy as blowing off dust. Fan Tian, immortal golden cicada, immortal Tianding, and the others hurriedly bowed and apologized. It's a pity that I've sent such a powerful clone. I'm afraid I'll be in a weakened state for the next 1 or 2 years. However, it's not a loss to kill such a talented chess piece left behind by Zhu Zhao in the eastern wilderness. I'm curious to see how Zhu Zhao will react when he learns that I've eliminated this chess piece. Taoist Master Black Heaven had a playful smile on his face and seemed to be in a good mood. Fan Tan, immortal golden cicada, Dao Xianfeng, and the others wanted to persuade Taoist Master Black Heaven to stay. They even wanted to use his invincible divine power to wipe out the Wuji Sword sect and uproot it from the infinite wasteland world. However, considering that Taoist Master Black Heaven would be in a weakened state for a few more months with every day he stayed here, they did not dare to make this suggestion, which was full of temptation for the create, evolve, mysterious sect. Taoist Master Black Heaven did not give Fan Tian, immortal golden cicada, immortal Tianding, Dao Xianfeng, and the others a chance to speak. Seeing that Tsing Hui was dead and that esteemed Master Zhu Zhao had no intention of sending another main battle clone, Taoist Master Black Heaven immediately rose into the air and directly arrived above the void. Then the powerful golden core clone dissipated with a loud bang. Rumble, an energy wave that was many times more terrifying than the dissipation of an ordinary main battle clone, swept out in all directions. The clouds within a radius of hundreds of kilometers were completely torn to pieces by this spreading energy. A violent hurricane swept across the void. Even though Taoist Master Golden Cicada, Immortal Tianding, Fan Tian, Dao Xianfeng, and the others were some distance away, the force that blew down still caused the bodies of these transformative and true energy realm experts to sway. They looked at the storm-like torrent of energy in the void with awe. This is a powerful expert, Dao Xianfeng muttered to himself as he looked at the torrent of energy in the void that had not subsided for a long time. If you don't become a powerful expert, you will always be an ant. Chotsing Hui is indeed a genius. He is cultivated to the transformative realm in his 30s and is strong enough to fight against the entire create, evolve, mysterious sect. However, so what if he is talented? If he doesn't grow up and become a powerful expert, won't he still be unable to escape the fate of being killed by a powerful expert? It's a pity that such a genius died like this. If he didn't choose to go against the create, evolve, mysterious sect and join us instead, his future might not be like this. Humph! What's there to pity? It's good that he died. Anyone who dares to go against the create, evolve, mysterious sect must die. The remaining people of the create, evolve, mysterious sect were either emotional or resentful. Their attitudes were mixed. However, after lingering for a while, they had to quickly leave this place. The Cloud Desolate Mountain Range was also part of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's territory. Such a large-scale battle had most likely alarmed the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. If they did not leave as soon as possible, once the news of them leaving the place they were guarding spread, the territories that were originally occupied by the Hunyuan Heaven Sect would be taken back. The create, evolve gate and defensive facilities built in those places would also be destroyed. Isn't this skill a little too heaven-defying? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.